Sometimes I'm working on a film and someone will ask me if I'm having fun, and I'm tempted to tell them the truth. No, absolutely not. Having no fun here at all. You know what's going to be fun? When it's done and I've done a good fucking job. And I know people are getting something out of that. I'll have a lot of fun then, a ton of it. Welcome to the first episode of our 2024 Oscar bonus run. I'm Austin Johnson.
I'm Connor Eyzaguirre.
Oh man, we're doing a Philip Seymour Hoffman episode. You know, the Oscars, the 96th Academy Award nominations just came out recently. We're super excited for that. That's March 10th. So for the next 6 weeks or so, every Friday here at Filmgazm Productions, we're going to release an Oscar-related episode for fun. You know, why not? What better way than to start with the actor that I feel like really brought us together as friends? You know, Philip Seymour Hoffman, when we first met at Draft House, fucking what, 7 years ago now? Uh, we quickly found out, we both love the Coens, we love Tarantino, we love some of these directors that we have in common. But one of the first individual actors was PSH, man. You know, we kind of locked eyes like, oh, you get it. I get it. Yeah, he's the man. So it's going to be really cool to just dive deep into his career with you today, man.
Oh, dude, we've been developing this for so long. I almost can't believe we're actually doing it. And yeah, this guy taught me that acting was not just saying words in front of a camera. It was disappearing into performance, into belief. And he never really, changed his body shape. He never like really did makeup or changed his hair or anything. Occasionally he did, but often it was just him. And it was just the way he held himself, the way he changed his voice ever so slightly, the way he held his eyes. And you were very aware this was a different character. And I've never seen any other actor do it like that, do it as well as he could. He had a natural ability to just exude realism. And I don't know how. And he would, yeah, in my opinion, when we're talking character actors, he is the GOAT.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. He's my personal favorite actor to ever live. Definitely, as far as character actors go in movie making, he's the guy. He sets the template, sets the standard. And what you mentioned, we've been talking about doing something like this for a very long time. Way back when we really started clicking and started podcasting together, we did do a Philip Seymour Hoffman episode.
Yeah.
Now, shame on us. We've learned a lot. We didn't have nearly the amount of knowledge that we have now of the guy's work.
No.
There's about it depends how you look at it. Depends on what you count as a movie. But my list, what I wrote down, there's 54 acting credits here, and at that time we had seen very few of those really in the long run, right? And now I think you said you've seen close to 40.
39 on the dot.
And I've seen 45 now because the past month or so we've both just been fucking going to town, man. Just watching PSH movies, whether they're ones where he's in them for 5 minutes or he's the main guy. We've been just honing in and focusing on him. What's really, really unique about this and what kind of makes me stop and kind of look at stuff for a second is we've been wanting to do this PSH episode, honoring him, honoring his career, but we also wanted to do this Oscar run. And I was like, hey, man, we used to do Oscar Sunday, right? Of course, we did that for a long time. We did it over 2 years. And it was a lot of fun. We learned a lot about movie making, and we watched a lot of great movies, some bad movies, and fell in love with a lot of actors. We both kind of gained a whole new appreciation for James Stewart and Burt Lancaster and, Ingrid Bergman, some of these legends of the past that we really got to dive into their careers and whatnot. So that was really special. But we always wanted to do something around PSH. We just didn't know how to do it. And what's really cool is we finally are like, all right, Oscar Sunday's over. This is a new phase of Filmgazm where we're really honing in on a genre film every Wednesday. And we were like, why not? Let's do something around the Oscars. Here come the 96th Academy Awards. The train is moving. Fucking Oppenheimer's on its way to who knows how many awards. And we're like, let's do kind of like a build up of different Oscar things that we like. Of course, PSH won for his role as Truman Capote in Capote from 2005. And he was nominated again 3 more times. So he's a 4-time nominee, 1-time winner. That's the reason we can kind of do this under an Oscar scope. But really, it's for us to talk about PSH. And when we started making the schedule, I was like, okay, I know it's the 10-year anniversary of his death in 2024. Okay, let's do like some of them. Let's do in February, and then let's like go into that like last Friday right before March 10th, right before the actual Oscars. Lo and behold, the date we chose was February 2nd, 2024, which is the exact date today. 10 years since he passed away, and I just still just get chills. Like, how did like what? Like, was he watching over me and you? Like what was going on here? Was he like, hey, I see what you guys are doing. Thank you. I'm gonna like make this date somehow the point that we landed on? Fucking weird.
Dude, I am such a hardcore atheist who really doesn't believe in an afterlife. But if there is a slim chance that the spirit of Philip Seymour Hoffman kind of guided us to do this in his honor, maybe there is a God. That's something
up,
I can get behind.
I think there might be a God, and his name is Lancaster Dodd. uh, his name is Sandy Lyle. Yeah, man, I'm fucking crazy. He was 46 years old. He'd be 56 now, or close to 56, because his birthday is actually in July. And my God, I wonder. I always love like looking at an actor's career, kind of the arc of it and whatnot. And a lot of guys will do really unique, career defining stuff in their late 20s, 30s, and then there's kind of this who am I, and then kind of their late 40s, 50s. They're like, oh, actually, I still got it. I think we've seen that with Leonardo DiCaprio, big time. I think there was kind of a strange 2000s, like, okay, you're one of the biggest stars ever, but like some of the choices you're making are very interesting. And I think now he's like, I'm the man. Like I think with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood and Killers of the Flower Moon, I'm the man. He's almost 50 years old. I feel like we're about to see a phase of PSH's career that was going to be maybe his best, age 46 to maybe like right around now, 55, 56, where sometimes these actors, that's when they peak. And I just like, fuck, man, like I feel like there's a lot of juice left, for him to give as far as his talent goes and as far as what he was willing to give to people. And I just think about it all the time. What other directors would have he worked with? He worked with so many different people and so many amazing, like icons. Obviously, his amazing partnership with PTA, but and the Coens. But he also would like, I'm gonna go do this thing with Spike Lee. Like I'm gonna go work with this guy. Or he'd work with another actor. You know what? I think it'd be cool if I'm this cop in Nobody's Fool and I get to just watch Paul Newman do his thing. And like when you're 27 years old, PSH in 1994, that probably changed his life, being able to watch Paul Newman, go to work every day, and do his thing. And Paul Newman's amazing in that movie. So he got to watch these guys who were icons during the 90s, and then he kind of took the torch in the 2000s and became a fucking monster of his own.
Yeah, just listening to other performers of his, generation speak about him with like just reverence and respect, and just so they loved him. They loved watching him work. Guys like Sam Rockwell, and just they never let us forget his work and who he was. And watching him talk about the craft, the guy was so humble. He was so nervous about like I watched his Oscar acceptance speech earlier today,
Dude.
just because, and he was so nervous. He did not expect to win. He was up there just, thanking his mom for existing and stuff like that. Like the guy was a gem who just tapped into a vein of talent that very few people in the industry have ever had.
Yeah. Is it I've watched like all those Oscars because I like watching his reaction. I think it's Doubt, when he was nominated for Doubt. I think that's the one where he's like wearing a beanie. He's like sitting in the crowd, like, I'm not gonna win. He's just wearing like a beanie and like a fucking, suit. Like, dude, this guy, he looks like his character in Jack Goes Boating, I think, is the one where he wears a beanie the whole time. Like, this guy, dude, he's just his own beast, and the quote that I opened up with is one of my favorites. Uh, the seriousness that he took his craft, how hard on himself he was, but then it was like on the outside, like you said, it was kind of this soft, like I'm just doing my job type thing. Like I just want it to be that. I don't want like a lot of people to know everything about me. I don't want to be in the spotlight all the time. Like I love acting. I love working. And he in between all these 54 movies, look at his stage work. It's fucking insane how often he was doing stuff on the stage. Proper, respectable acting. Really cool.
Yeah, he reminds me of like almost like a softer George C. Scott, who just
I like that.
he valued the craft. It was work, it was a job. The accolades were, I won't say meaningless, but very much secondary. It was all about, did I do a good job for me today? And that is something
Mm.
we can all take into our work ethic, because that's a fucking great way to live your day-to-day life.
Yeah. Yeah, straight up, dude. Straight up. I love the guy. I cannot wait to dive into these movies. What we're gonna do today to properly honor him and honor his career is build a Philip Seymour Hoffman Hall of Fame. And what we're gonna do here is because we've both seen a ton of these. Connor said 39. I've seen 45, so we have a lot to play with here. We're gonna go chronologically from his technical debut, triple bogey on a par five hole, 1992. And we're going to go all the way to the Hunger Games Mockingjay Part 2 from 2015, which of course came out after he had passed away. We're going to go through all those movies. If we haven't seen it, of course, we'll kind of go, skip over it. Hopefully we can see it in the future. Some of these are very hard to find, some of these old ones. If we have seen it, we'll discuss it for a minute. And we're going to say if we think it's a green, yellow, red. Green meaning this is a shoe-in Hall of Fame PSH role, or yellow, hey, let's think about it. Maybe we'll come back around. And red is like, nah, man, let's move on. So I'm super stoked to go chronologically through this guy's career because, to be honest with you, man, I haven't been dedicated to an episode or to an actor like this ever in my life. The past month.
Me too. This, when we decided to reboot the show and really refocus on research and like weekly, making every Wednesday a very, the best episode we can make. I'm glad we also decided to add in these, occasional bonus content on Friday so we could still experiment. And the experimentation has become my favorite part of doing all this. These weren't all amazing movies, but he was always amazing. He was always reliable.
Mm-hmm.
He's the fucking salt of actors. You throw him in there, he's gonna make it better. And I wish I'd gotten a full, a clean sweep, but that's just not fucking possible. Some of these movies I don't think have ever even been released on DVD.
Dude, yeah, we tried.
We did. We really tried. You tried just a smidge harder than I did, but I had a lot
Yeah,
of other shit to do.
yeah, exactly. I've taken time off from Filmgazm to get prepared for this because I knew I was hosting this and I'm kicking off this run of, like you said, Friday bonus episodes of all Oscar related stuff. And at the end of this episode, we'll talk more about what we're doing next week. We'll kind of do it that way with these Friday episodes. Keep the listeners in the loop of what we're doing, but everything is, in quotes, Oscar related, but it's more about just stuff that we love. That's really why we're here, and PSH is one of those guys that we clearly love. So, without further ado, let's fucking get this train rolling, man. Like I said, triple bogey on a par five hole is technically his first movie, starring alongside Robbie Coltrane. I wanted to watch this so bad, but you cannot find it anywhere. It's a very difficult one to find. It's PSH. He would have been 25 years old at this time, and just couldn't get to it.
In this day and age, it cheeses me so much that there are films we can't access. Like you'd think that anything ever made would be available somewhere, even if you have to pay for it. Like there's directors whose work I've been able to clean sweep, watch all of their work. There is not a single actor I have ever been able to do that for because of this early work that is like non-existent.
Yeah. Yeah, and you and I are definitely completists. We love to clean, like you said, clean sweep things, and fucking give us a break, we gave it a go. Honestly, on a ton of our Oscar episodes when we did Oscar Sunday, we if we did a Best Picture showdown, we were like, we're gonna do whatever the fuck it takes to get to those Best Picture nominees. Luckily, those are typically easier to get around to than some. But yeah, some of these early '90s ones are random. So there's another one from 1992, My New Gun. Neither of us got to that one as well. So I'll go ahead and say the third one as well, Leap of Faith, also 1992. We didn't get to any of those three. Leap of Faith, he's alongside Steve Martin in that movie. I wanted to watch it.
Yeah, me too. Just from the title, My New Gun, with Philip Seymour Hoffman in it, like something happens in that movie, and I want to see it.
Yeah, My New Gun is like for real, like made like $10,000 at the box office. It's like one of those like dud. Like Leap of Faith made some money, and so it was, I think you could rent it like on Vudu and Prime, but it was not available like on Tubi or Roku channel or any of those things that we were using. We didn't pay for any of this. We used all free stuff or our own collections or streaming services that we were both subscribed to. So Leap of Faith, I think is I'm pretty sure Prime and $2.99 or whatever. So if you want to go for it, and one day I will, one day I will.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I'd love to just throw money and rent all this shit just because I want to watch it. But at the end of the day, this is a hobby, and we can't afford that.
So yeah, my thing was I almost rented a movie, and I was like, if I do that, then I need to rent all of them, and I'm not doing that because then if I rent 9 movies, here we are spending $40 on on movies that I might not like. Oh boy,
I can't open that door because it will not close.
Yeah, right. So the triple threat from 1992, Triple Bogey, My New Gun, Leap of Faith, scratch those. Now, really, the coming out party, Scent of a Woman, also 1992. PSH is absolutely dynamite in this movie. He is so good as George Willis Jr., this slimy bastard. Not in it a lot, but man, if you don't really know much about him, if you've only seen a few of his movies and you go back and watch Scent of a Woman, you're like, whoo, like there's a star.
Yeah, he was at his best when he was playing just real shit heels. And this kid, this, silver spoon, daddy's money, prep school bitch, is really the bad guy of the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah, watching
fucking Tattletale. Yeah.
Oh, he fucking Tattletale. And yeah, just watching, Al Pacino tear this kid and the teacher lawyer a new one with some very good points about honesty and integrity is one of my favorite moments of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, people have people come down on Scent of a Woman saying that Pacino stole the Oscar from Denzel, and there's an argument for that. But watch Scent of a Woman again. Pacino really is fucking killing it in that movie. It's a really good movie.
It is good. My one thing about I feel like I would rewatch Scent of a Woman a lot if it wasn't so goddamn long.
Yeah,
it's like 2 hours 40, and I was like, man, maybe I should rewatch this because I haven't seen it since we did something on Oscar Sunday where we both watched
Unforgiven.
Scent of a Woman. Unforgiven, Best Picture Showdown. There you go, 1992. Yeah, we watched that. I had seen it before, but yeah. As a PSH fan, you're like, man, there's just like you said, like he looks too comfortable in that uniform, that slimy, like
You almost picture him like holding a big lollipop and sticking his tongue out at somebody. Like you can almost kind of see that in the way he holds.
Yeah, and you see it again, like in The Master. You see it again, like 30 years later. Yeah, Scent of a Woman's great. I wouldn't quite put it in the upper echelon in the Hall of Fame for PSH, but it definitely is one that I do recommend, especially if you're trying to study his career.
Yeah, I have it as a yellow. It's definitely, for me, his kind of coming out party as an actor.
Yeah.
And good place to start.
Yeah, definitely. Next one, Joey Breaker. Oh boy. I watched this on YouTube. Not great. Not a great film. He is wonderful in it, as per usual. This is a Steven Starr written and directed film, starring Richard Edson, Cedella Marley, who's related to Bob Marley, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is a supporting character in this one. Him and Richard Edson are kind of they work together. Edson's like an agent for actors in the movie, and PSH is kind of his dude, like his go-to guy. He's always like taking calls, and And man, he's really good. His I think his character's name is Wiley. Let me make sure that's right. Yeah, Wiley McCall, and he's great. He's great in it. I'm not gonna you go to the bat for it to be in the Hall of Fame or anything, but again, if you're a big fan, this is on YouTube for free. Uh, Joey Breaker, not a great film. So underseen that it doesn't have a Rotten Tomatoes score. Joey Breaker, wow, and that's something, isn't it? But for whatever reason, PSH read that script and was like, sure.
At the time, I'm sure it was like, well, I got to pay the rent next month, so I'll take it.
He talks about how after he got sober, when he was 22 in 1989, he's like, I stopped doing everything, I stopped all the drugs and all the alcohol, and he's after that I just was like, I'll do anything. I'll like, of course I want to read it, I want to know what's going on, I want to see if I can do something with the character, but he's like, I wanted to work and never do anything else but act for money. And he accomplished that dream. He was so committed here in the 92, 93, 94. He's doing so many movies and working on the stage so much and like trying to perfect his craft. It worked. So good for him. My Boyfriend's Back and Money for Nothing, also both from 1993. I didn't get to see either of these, and neither did you. These are, again, very, very hard to find. But I did find a YouTube clip from My Boyfriend's Back, and he looks fucking deranged in this movie. He's like a bully. I sent you a picture of him. He's wearing like a backwards hat, and he's like got a baseball bat, and he's like, hey, he's like doing this weird voice. Like, what? I want to see this. Like, it looks like kind of like a shitty, like really low grade, like kind of like thriller or like horror movie. I don't know, dude. I want to see it though.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I'm gonna make a conscious effort to eventually find all of these movies and clean sweep this guy.
Yeah, dude, same. I would like to own all of them and like have like a specific case for Phil. I would totally do that if I had the money. Money for Nothing, also something that's pretty hard to find. I tried and I don't really know much about it, so that's one of those ones that just kind of fell by the wayside. And then he does 5 movies in 1994. We have one of them I don't know how to say. Szuler. Zuler.
I went with Zuler. Yeah.
I think it translates to something else because I don't remember. I think I saw it something different on Letterboxd, but I don't know. I'm not sure. It's very underseen. Like has very little stuff going for it. And again, another one that doesn't even have a Rotten Tomatoes score. It's one of those just like what the hell. The Getaway, The Yearling, which is a remake from not a great movie. When a Man Loves a Woman, and Nobody's Fool. I was able to watch The Getaway, The Yearling, and Nobody's Fool, and I believe you got to Nobody's Fool.
I did, yes.
Okay, so I'll get out of the way. The Getaway fucking rules. That movie kicks ass. Awesome cast. PSH is like essentially a getaway driver. He's not in it a ton, but it's like a heist movie that turns into kind of like a chase between two characters, between Michael Madsen's character and Alec Baldwin's character. Michael Madsen's fucking like, I'm going to chase him down and kill him. And for a while there, Michael Madsen and PSH are like partners, and you're like, what a dream. This is cool. It's not like a, great film, but it is fucking entertaining and a ridiculous cast and crazy set pieces. And I had a lot of fun with it. So like, I'll go to bat for it as a movie. Not quite in the PSH Hall of Fame, but I really liked it. The Yearling. This is on Tubi, I believe. So is The Getaway. And PSH is in it a decent amount. It's a remake of a 40s movie with we watched this for Oscar Sunday way back.
Gregory Peck and Jane Wyman.
That's right. Peck and Wyman, who are both, very respectable performers. Just kind of a boring film. Just kind of like one of those like, look at this little town in the United States, in backwoods America, and like their little problems, It's just like, I just don't really care. But when PSH hits the screen, he looks like he hasn't taken a shower in like his whole life. And he has this one moment where there's like this big scene with a bear. And the main family, the dad kills the bear. And when he goes and like finds PSH, and PSH is, he like lives with this backwoods, like nasty family that they're up to no good. He lives with them, and he's like, hey, I killed the bear. And Hoffman's like, his character's name is Buck. Buck is like, no way, there's no way you killed that bear. But when he shows him, Buck takes the bear, like this dead bear, and he's like dancing with it. Oh man, it is worth the price of admission, my man. Like watching that scene like made that whole experience. It is not a good movie, but watching that scene made it all worth it for me because I was fucking dying laughing. Again, not going to make the PSH Hall of Fame, but he's great in it. When a Man Loves a Woman, really, really, really upset I didn't get around to this one. It's one of those that I probably just should have pulled the trigger. You had to rent it though, man. It just fuck. It looks good. It looks up my alley. It has a cool cast. I don't know. I kind of regret not doing that one. And then the one that we both seen from '94, Nobody's Fool. Fucking good movie right here. Paul Newman was up for Best Actor here. This is, I believe, his last nomination.
Nope. Road to Perdition was his last nomination.
Road to Perdition, 2002. Yeah, 2002. And then, he goes on and does a few more things. He does Empire Falls, which also has PSH in it, and he does Cars. So, latter part of his career has some fucking gems. I'll tell you that. He's great in this. Paul Newman. Great. PSH is barely in it. He's a cop, I think, named Raymer.
Yep.
And he's fucking amazing. Like, he's hilarious. He plays a cop a little too well. But as he did with everything, he also played like a cult leader a little too well. So I didn't walk away like, oh, this is gonna be in the Hall of Fame, but I walked away like that was one of the best movies I watched from this whole bunch.
I admittedly I had this as a yellow, as a maybe, because I was so impressed by it's brief, but he plays this, bumbling small town cop who, clearly like grew up watching like Lethal Weapon and shit and just wants to be this badass, but fucks up royally and pays for it.
Yeah.
I love it. I wonder if like his nerves also came from like, a young actor working with Paul Newman. Like,
oh my God. Yeah, dude. Like, can you imagine being 27 years old? You're like, like that's that guy. That's that guy I watched growing up. He was being Oscar nominated the year I was born. Jesus.
You're doing a scene with fucking Butch Cassidy and you have the gun.
Yeah. Hey, HUD. Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Yeah. Newman, like, you want to play some pool? No. Newman is like, he obviously was like so fucking handsome, and like he aged really well. And in Nobody's Fool, I'll say, man, from the top of my head, there's not a lot of dudes who aged as gracefully as him, or have aged as gracefully, and can play that kind of stubborn, like, I'm gonna do what I want, old man, but like comes around like, oh, you know what? My heart actually is bigger than I realized, and he is so good in that movie. It's not this work of art, amazing cinematography. It's really a showcase for him, and then a really unique cast around him. Like, Bruce Willis is fucking off his rocker in this movie. So I like really, really, really responded to Nobody's Fool, and I highly recommend it just as a movie.
Same here. I mean, it's really funny. The running gag of Newman and Willis stealing the fucking snowplow back and forth had me cackling.
So good.
Melanie Griffith is insanely hot in this movie. So
good God, yeah, dude, yeah. Talk about eye candy. Good Lord.
Yeah. And it's just it's a nice little sweet natured comedy that about second chances, and I like that.
Yeah, me too, man. I knew when I was watching it, I was like, Connor is gonna love this. This is kind of right up her alley. Just a good wholesome movie. 1994. 30 years old this year. Now it gets interesting. now we're gonna see some action here. He's not in anything in the year of 1995, so we go to 1996 where he has a couple bangers. We'll start with Hard Eight. His initial, his first partnership here with Paul Thomas Anderson, who became like one of his closest friends. And I'm not going to say it should be in the Hall of Fame because it's literally one short scene. But if I had to pick scenes, my favorite scenes of Philip Seymour Hoffman, this is like towards the top. It's him and Philip Baker Hall, they're playing, they're playing games, man, and PSH is doing the kind of like, come on, old timer, I'm gonna smoke this cigarette, I'm gonna like, he's just absolutely insane in this. They don't even give him a name. He's just the young craps player in Hard Eight. One of the most unique, directorial debuts from PTA, and a movie that I love. But PSH not quite in it enough for me to give it, go to bat for it. But that scene is something else. And I've heard Philip Baker Hall talk about that, and he was like, thought the kid was like, I thought the kid was on cocaine right there. Like he's just losing his mind. And this is a 29-year-old now. Philip Seymour Hoffman. So he's getting close to 30 and getting close to really exploding.
For me, this is like the perfect example of the phrase, there are no small parts, just small actors.
Mm-hmm.
Because like you said, it's a character named Young Craps Player. For a lot of actors, that's, $200 and like a day's work. But to Philip Seymour Hoffman, it's another feather in the cap in a budding resume, because he is able to pour so much just, probably experience of being on coke into this, weekend gambler who you just, you immediately feel an attraction towards, because you can tell that the actor playing this character has his own agenda. Like he did research for himself into this brief little performance. You can just tell.
Yeah, dude. And it's the start of the most valuable partnership in Paul Thomas Anderson's career.
Yeah, Anderson clearly knew he had something.
Yeah. Thank God. Thank God. It's brought me their work together has brought me endless joy. So I'm very grateful for that. And that the movie right now is on Hulu. If you have not seen it, like please go watch it. Another one from 1996. I think most people, and fair enough, see this as his coming out party. Twister. He's in it a good amount. His character is easily the most charismatic. His performance is the one that I think saves the movie from being a little bit boring at times. So I just think he deserves a shout here, and this is the first one I would say probably needs to be in the Hall of Fame.
Ooh. Yeah, Twister. I did not
Dustin.
I didn't like this movie at all, but I liked him.
Welcome to the extreme.
I love this like surfer bro stoner dude who's a fucking tornado chaser and just doing it with a smile on his face. I mean, I thought the whole concept of this movie was stupid. I did not like the execution. I thought the characters were idiots, and I thought it looked super dated. I'm not a fan of Twister. So that's unfortunate, but you know what? I will what's the term here? Concede. You can have
let's call it yellow then. Let's call it yellow.
Okay. Because he is great. This is, this is probably the movie that, this was his first real like huge hit. So
oh yeah.
I get that most people see this as the beginning of his career. We consider the small parts too.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It was a wildly successful movie. Like I think made like the second most at the box office. Was like number 2 or 3 that year. So it made a shit ton of money.
Had a ride.
And people saw. They're like, oh, who's that guy with the hat on? Like, who are you? And that happened. That's been happening in movies forever. Where like someone, 5th, 6th, 7th billing, one of those guys, it's like this is a make or break moment for you if you're in that successful that a movie that successful. And he brought it. He brought the juice, man. The food. Red meat. We crave sustenance. He's so fucking good. The scene at like the dinner table at the aunt's house, he's just on. He's just like turned on all the way, ready to go. Like I'm the most talented guy at the table. Like sorry, And he doesn't really rub it in. He doesn't really rub it in anybody's face. He's so good at putting other people up. He's so good at supporting, but he's also like, I'm the man. Like I'm batting 1,000 here. The rest of you are like, okay, like, but you don't feel like he's saying that. He's just doing it, Yeah, you slaughter your own cows, Meg. Nice. He's great. He's great. Dusty is a wonderful character. So let's say yellow for him right now. We have a long way to go. So I'll call Dusty yellow.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I had it as a hard red, but admittedly, that is towards Twister, not towards Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I would not put Twister in one of the better movies of this run. Yeah, it's him. It's all about the man, Phil. And uh I think that's interesting. That's like something that's really hard to do is separate your feelings about a movie. And I certainly like with Hard Eight, I had to like hold on, like
Yeah.
brace yourselves, like but it's like a 2 minute scene. So you just gotta we only have 15 slots here. So yeah, let's go yellow for Dustin from Twister. Next up, Scotty J, Boogie Nights. Green. All the way green.
Easy green. Easy green.
Like, no questions. Like, yeah, I mean, just.
I've never seen.
I'm a fucking idiot.
I've never seen an established character actor shudder at a giant cock the way Philip Seymour Hoffman does in this movie.
Yeah, that initial when he's holding the mic.
He's just like his lip is quivering, like he's looking into the eyes of God. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's like far. But we've had a discussion about this. Boogie Nights has about 20 Hall of Fame level performances inside of it, which is why it's so fucking good. The writing's so good. These actors are like, oh my god, like you're giving me like PTA, that like coked out PTA was giving them like the best stuff to like the best lines to read, and he absolutely knocks out of the park as Scotty J. So that to me is like easily a green.
Yeah, hands down. It's an endlessly rewatchable movie, and his character is so unique even to this world, where he's this like possibly underage looking guy. Like we have this guy could be 14 or 38. Like we don't know, and he's and he's trying to seduce a coked up Mark Wahlberg, and he just Marky Mark ain't having it. It's a very sad character.
Extremely, and he's I think it was a really cool choice to have a gay character in the movie. He really at times is us. He's at times is the audience in this movie. He's kind of he's the reaction that we're all having. Like what? Like he's his shock at times of what's going on. Like how ridiculous, like how far Eddie Dirk Diggler has gone. But he just keeps kind of staying by him, and so do we. For some weird reason, we just like, oh, I can't get enough of this movie. And then like the just the downfall is so fast. And I mean, yeah, Boogie Nights is just on its own is one of the best movies that he was ever in, maybe the best, depending on who you're talking to. And Scotty J is a big reason why.
I came to a realization recently about Boogie Nights. It plays out like a porn addiction. Like you start out exploring this world, you like it, you get addicted to it, you love it, this is exciting, it's fun, and then you start realizing how it's impacting the rest of your life, and it's become something you're obsessed with, and you don't like it anymore, but you're trapped here, and you have to see this through to the end. Like
and then the guilt at the end of like, oh yeah,
what have I lost? What have I lost because of this? And it's I think that was a conscious decision to make this movie appear glamorous and exciting and fun, but really be just a vicious, gross thriller that lures you in like a fucking spider.
Yeah, God, it's so good. It really is definitely. It's has an argument to be the best movie he was ever in. So I totally idolize it. So that's a green. That's our first official green. So we have Dusty from Twister yellow, Scotty J, Boogie Nights green. Next up, 1998. He's in a couple movies. Did you get to watch either of these? Sorry, he's in 3 movies, I believe. I'm wrong. He's in more than that. 5.
Damn.
I wasn't counting Patch Adams. 5. Montana. Next up, Wonderland, The Big Lebowski, Happiness, and Patch Adams. I watched Montana and Next Up. I've seen all 5 of these. Did you get to see Montana or Next Stop Wonderland? Because I know you've seen the others.
I haven't seen Patch Adams either, actually.
Oh, you're not missing much, to be honest with you.
That's what I heard. I was gonna make the effort, but I talked to several people and they were like, "Don't bother."
I don't think it's very good. It did make a shit ton of money, so it's like another one of those like, hey, you get a chance to be
Well,
seen by a lot of people, but
when we if we ever do this for Robin Williams, I'll watch Patch Adams.
and you know what? Something tells me in August we probably are. So yeah, it's all his 10-year anniversary of his death is also later this year, and I in my mind I've been like, why would we not honor him as well? He's another one of our favorites, mutual favorites.
Fuck, you don't have to tell me twice. Now I got something to look
Yeah.
forward to.
Yeah, baby. So yeah, I'm like stoked to rewatch like Flubber. I haven't seen Flubber in years. Like, you know what I mean?
I've
Just like those random ones.
I've never seen Mrs. Doubtfire, so
There you go.
yeah,
Yeah, let's do it. August.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah. So I didn't see Montana. I didn't see Next Stop Wonderland. I did watch Happiness, and Lebowski is obviously one of our favorite movies. So
yeah. Okay, so we'll save Lebowski and Happiness for a second. So Patch Adams, I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on that. I just he's he's fine in it. I think the movie it just fails completely to do what it's trying to do. I think a lot of people stand with me in that, especially now after the movie's lived a while. I think a lot of people are just kind of I don't know. What exactly is the message here? Montana. I do wish you could have seen Montana because first off, it's a total like Tarantino copycat. The same way a bunch of bands in the '90s were like, "Oh, Nirvana's doing this thing. I'm gonna, let's do it." It's very like, you watched Reservoir Dogs, you watched Pulp Fiction, and you were like, I can make kind of a convoluted, but not too confusing. But the cast is really cool. Robbie Coltrane is fucking awesome in this movie. But PSH, his character is a piece of shit, like a piece of shit. Owen Davian style piece of shit. Like, dude, you're fucked up. Like you're a fucked up individual. You're kind of this suit wearing like right hand man to like the boss, which is played by Robbie Coltrane, and you're a piece of shit. Like you're so mean, you're so cruel, you're so evil, you're so calculated that I was like, I can see some of the signs of you watch Scent of a Woman, you watch Montana, and you're like, Owen Davian. There he is. So that was cool. But the movie, I enjoyed it because like I can put that shit to the side and be like, look, I'm not gonna dog it for trying to latch on to like what was popular in the '90s. Whatever. I had a good time. I thought it was funny. I also thought it was like super exciting at times, and I thought a lot of the performances were good. It's not directed real well. It doesn't have like a great, doesn't have great camera work, but I enjoyed it. So I stand by it being a worthwhile watch, a recommendation, if you will. And that is on Tubi. Next up, Wonderland. He's barely in it. I thought this movie was okay. It's fine. It's kind of cute. A little confusing towards the end as far as where the plot's trying to go, but he's kind of like an ex-boyfriend of the main character, and he's got a couple hilarious scenes as you expect, but he's not in it a lot. Okay, Lebowski, green, like all the way green. Brandt, in some ways, like is like the glue of the movie. He like brings it together. When he's on, you're like just laughing at his laugh. You laugh at his laugh. Just the way Jeff Bridges is touching stuff and like looking at the wall at that first time he goes to his mansion, and Brandt's reactions to the dude are just fucking classic. So I think Brandt is wonderful. This is huge for him working with the Coen brothers. Being in a really, really good movie that has stood the test of time is huge for his career. I think this has to be a green.
Oh, I'm not going to fight you on. Yeah, I love Brandt. I love this bootlicking butler to such a prick, um, who seems to really believe in the image that the Big Lebowski is projecting onto the world. I don't think Brandt's aware of how big a piece of shit, how big a human paraquat he is. And yeah, the scene where he's, telling the story, it's weird to brag about somebody else's achievements.
Yeah.
What Brandt's
Yes.
doing. And the dude is like throwing him off because he's asking questions and touching stuff. You can tell that this is a speech Brandt has done a lot of times. So he keeps repeating himself because
Yes.
the dude's throwing off his rhythm. And I fucking love that touch. Every time he like does the necessary means for a higher education, I always just laugh. Uh,
Yes.
like scenes like when Lebowski's like in seclusion and he's crying, and then you just cut to Brant and he's got like his face, he's staring
Yeah.
at the carpet trying not to cry.
Yeah. Uh,
It's fantastic. I love that character. Ugh. And I love how much the dude does not respect any of them. Like
yeah.
they're not
Yeah.
used to dealing with a guy like this. They don't know how to handle it.
God, what a movie, man. what what a movie. Simply the best from 1998. The best that year has to offer.
It's in my
Yeah,
top
he's
10. It's one of my all-time favorites. I think Walter Sobchak might be my favorite movie character of all time. It's
yeah, and then also in that movie happens to be Brant and the dude. It's like there's so I mean Donnie, like there's so many characters that I'm just like head over heels for. Uh God, it's the best, man. I often wonder if I really seriously made a list of my whatever 50 favorite movies, like where this is. It might also be 10 to 20. I don't know. I think about it a lot more than most movies. I know that, and I rewatch it a lot more than most movies. Quote it, talk about it. With people like you.
on Letterboxd for your profile. You can select like your four favorite movies. I Lebowski's one of my four.
Yeah, I
It's
change my four every month depending on what I watch. It's my four favorites of my four favorite watches from the month before, so I can always change it.
Oh, that's a good idea. I just have my four of my all-time favorites there as like, you want to know me immediately? These four movies.
Yeah, I did that for a long time. Then I was like, I want to change them. And how can I come up with the system? Here in February, I'm about to change them to four PSH movies. So it's like a theme. In November after October, I did four horror movies that I loved from, like The Thing and Shining. Whatever.
That's
It's just
beautiful.
that's just some bullshit I like to do for fun. That I, just killing time.
Uh,
All right, look, yeah, Lebowski's in. We both knew that going in. Now, finally, this really to me is one of the things I was looking forward to most about this episode, talking to you in person about this film called Happiness, where Philip Seymour Hoffman plays a man named Alan. I don't even know if you can call him a man. He is a slimy bastard. Again, he's so good at doing that, so like frighteningly good at playing characters like that. Um, Boy, where to begin? This is on YouTube. If anybody wants to check it out, we're gonna try not to spoil it too much of it because I really do think if you have the stomach for weird, nasty movies, like I highly recommend it. I think it is a feat. Like it is remarkable what this movie was able to get on screen here. I'll never look at Dylan Baker the same. I know that. Uh, and PSH just kind of added to his resume of like, wow, you're incredible. You do everything with ease, with a timing that is impeccable. So, Happiness, take it away.
ooh, boy. I had heard about this movie for a while. I saw it on a list of like 50 most disturbing films that will never leave your mind, and this was one of them. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
haven't seen most of those films because I don't actively seek out mind fucks, but uh, one of them I know we're doing on a separate project eventually, and I'm not looking forward to that nightmare. But Happiness, yeah, is a film about human depravity and just how fucked up we are as a species. And it's almost like it's an X-rated Magnolia.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and it fucked people up. Like people walked out at the premiere. It did not get a wide release. I don't think it's ever really gotten a formal like Blu-ray release. This people have tried to bury this fucker because it's so upsetting. And it's a one and I'm never watching this movie again. I'm glad I've seen it, but I'm never watching this again. And
I might. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't want to see that again. Like there's stuff in
I
I don't want to put back in my head.
the reason I say I might is because I was looking on Letterbox because I was like, what do people think about this movie? This is one of the movies I immediately went to Letterbox after it finished. Like, it's got a 4.0 on that motherfucker. Like, people love this movie. And I was looking and I was like, okay, people think this shit is just funny. Like most people who love it are just like, this shit's hilarious, like one of the best comedies of the 90s. And I'm like, huh, did I go into it with the wrong mindset? Did I I'm not quite sure, which makes it that much more interesting to me.
Yeah.
I gave it 4 stars. I thought like I was so like rocked by it, and I did. I mean, the ending made me fucking cackle. Like I was dying laughing when the kid, you know what I'm talking about. It's fucking crazy. Like,
I when the dog did
yeah,
I actively was like, oh, and then when it kissed mom, I was like, oh no, no.
yes. And I watched it. I watched it alone. I'm sure you did as well. And you're just kind of looking around like somebody like tap my shoulder so I know like I'm awake. This
Yeah.
is fucked.
I put it in my review. I mentioned I said something about like this movie's so upsetting, you have to laugh at it. Like it's the only reasonable reaction you can have to watching some of this shit because you're like, you got to keep one foot in reality or you're gonna lose your mind. Like you have to be like, this is
Yeah.
so insane. Like you got to like turn to like a ghost and be like, are you seeing this shit right now? And just
Yeah.
get on board with that because otherwise, like if you try to watch this as a serious adventure, you you're not going to look at people the same way again.
Yeah, you might come out like, yeah, just completely different. Yeah. So I do to like big time movie people like watch this. It is a
Yeah.
once in a lifetime type experience. I've never seen anything like it. But if you're like not like down for just like gross, nasty, like depraved, it's like
Yeah.
steer clear.
This ain't a first date movie. This is a
No,
50th date
no.
movie with a woman you really trust.
Or it's like, you know what, do what we did, watch it alone.
Yeah. Or, yeah. But Hoffman in this is such a pathetic, sad sack of a broken man who just has no drive, has an obsession with a neighbor, and he's just so he doesn't look any different than other roles he's done, but there's something about the way he holds himself that it's just so vile.
Yeah.
It's weird. Like this is I could see this guy jerking off in an alley in broad daylight.
And then like eating Donald's after. Yeah, like
Burger in one hand, dick in the other. Like I can see that.
dude, that is like perfect. I don't think we're selling this movie very well.
I think we're selling this quite well. I think the people who are gonna watch this are taking this as quite the endorsement.
I guess the ultimate question is this a green, yellow, or red?
I have it as a yellow because I think he's good, but I think there's other stuff that definitely deserves a spot first. Uh,
I'm with you. I'm in the exact same boat.
I see this
Uh,
more as Dylan Baker's movie than I do as
I,
Hoffman.
I mean, holy hell! Yeah, you're not gonna get. And my favorite scene is the beginning with John Lovitz. That's my favorite scene of the whole thing.
Dude.
Like that's like at the beginning, I was like, oh, this is gonna be good. Like this guy's tearing this motherfucker apart. Like I thought I was like, this is gonna be a great kind of like tough relationship movie, and then it just turns into this just nasty, nasty shit show.
But I love that John Lovitz scene. Like I've had a relationship in the past, and I wish I'd done that. I wish I'd told her how I really thought about the way she treated me, but I didn't. I didn't have the balls. So in that moment, I was like, John, preach. I was just like cheering, like, yes.
Yeah, punch in the air. Come on, baby. Yeah, happiness. Yeah, that's the movie we spent the most time on because yeah, it really is. We both saw it for the first time and we were like, oh,
I could honestly do a full Wednesday show on happiness. I might in the future. I need some time. I need some distance before I go back into that, but I could if
yeah.
you wanted it, if somebody on the team wanted to tackle it, I will do it again.
I would rewatch it definitely for an episode. Yeah, it's one of the rare NC-17 movies that we would tackle. So yeah, woof. On YouTube again, if you want to check it out after that crazy endorsement. So that's 98. So all we have for sure from 98 is Lebowski, is Brandt from Lebowski, and Alan from Happiness is Yellow. 1999 triple threat here. We've both seen all of these. Flawless, Magnolia, The Talented Mr. Ripley. Uh, let's just jump right in. Are any of these three greens for you?
Um, all three are, yes.
Ooh, okay. I mean, you're not going to get an argument here for me about Phil Parma in Magnolia. I think he's wonderful. Many times he's talked about Magnolia being the best movie he was ever in, and he loved rewatching it. Another chapter in the book of PTA and PSH. Talented Mr. Ripley, Freddie Miles. Don't you just want to fuck everything? How's the peeping Tom? Yeah, he's great in that movie. And then Flawless, he plays Rusty, a transgender drag queen. Really, really good performance in that movie. I was really blown away. I thought the movie like totally failed their cast. I thought the screenplay was just not good in some scenarios, and where the plot decides to go with certain stuff. I'm like, why is this like a gangster movie? Like, but I don't know. I was just like, what is this? And like De Niro is, I think, pretty good in it, but other times I'm like, PSH is just fucking dominating you, like straight up, like going toe to toe with you and like crushing you. So I do love the character of Rusty, love Freddie, love Phil, but you got them all greens, so I love that. That's really cool. 1999 would be the best year of his career for you.
Dude, it's this. So if he was, recognized with like Twister and Lebowski and Boogie Nights, he was here to fucking stay in 99.
Mm.
And Flawless especially blew me away with his performance. I agree. I have the same thoughts on the film as you do. Like, if this was just a movie about a transgender drag queen befriending a homophobic cop, I think this would be a great movie. But for some reason, like they want to make like fucking Heat. I don't know why that happened.
Yeah. I think this is on Tubi, and I was just like kind of watching it, and I was like, huh. But what are we doing here? Like this, there's a movie here. There's a movie, and like half of it is good. The other half is like, I don't need this.
To me, like what cemented it, there's a line that Rusty says to De Niro that I wrote in my review. I've been doing quotes before on all my reviews lately. I'm enjoying doing that.
I love that actually. Whenever I like that touch a lot.
He says, "Darling, I am more man than you will ever be, and more woman than you will ever get."
Yes.
Fuck yeah, Phil, preach. And yeah, I just love this character, and it's so different from anything he'd done, up to that point. It took me a minute to realize it was him, actually.
Uh, uh, uh when I did, I think I texted you. I was like, "Oh my god!" Like I sent you a screen, like a picture, and you were like, "Oh man, like how have we not heard of this?" What
Yeah,
in the hell? Yeah, and it's gotten properly, I think, like rated. Like it has a 50% on Rotten Tomatoes, and like it's Letterboxd. People are just like, it's like not his fault, PSH's fault, but at times like a little offensive to that community. And then again, half of the plot is like, just why are we here? Why are we doing this? So, but him, I'm with you, man. I give this a green as well.
I think for its time, this was a transgender movie
Yeah,
in 1999 by the
yeah,
guy who had just been like almost blacklisted for Batman and Robin. So I think given all of that, it's better than it really should have been in terms
I
of
agree.
respect.
I agree.
But yeah, he is fantastic. Ripley took me a
Mm.
few tries to really appreciate, and now I fucking adore it. Uh,
Yeah, it's great.
but I love like his immediate introduction. He's like bonjour, no, just this like flashy douche who just is
Yeah,
openly
prick.
ogling every woman in his immediate um, eye path, and is the only one to immediately realize that this Tom Ripley guy's fucking weird. Like
Oh yeah. He's so vital to the story, and his stuff with Matt Damon, like golden.
I fucking love the line, "How's the peeping, Tom?" Like that's just
Yeah,
so fucking funny.
yeah. How's the peeping Tom? Yeah, I mean, Adam and I say that to each other all the time, like just fucking around. Like,
How do you not?
how's the peeping Tom? It's his delivery. It's his delivery. Just that sly, like,
Tom, how's the
you know.
peeping?
Yeah,
Like smile, like hey, like smirking, like
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah, Freddie's great. Freddie's awesome, and Mr. Ripley, I do think is in the upper echelon of things that he was in. It was really successful, Oscar nominated type movie, but also has stood the test of time. It's just really, really exciting. And you have the four like key players are fucking amazing. Like Jude Law, Matt Damon, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Like it doesn't get much better than that as far as 1999. Like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. That movie's a really good sociopath movie. It's a really good,
Yes.
like, if you want to see a character who has no identity and is just like a living parasite who absorbs other people's lives, it's a great. I'm surprised Damon isn't more like remembered for that one.
I agree. I think it's one of the underrated gems of his career, and definitely something that I would, if we were doing a Hall of Fame for him, I would also have it for him.
Yeah.
Magnolia, easy peasy.
Dude, I like your love affair with this movie has like rubbed off on me, and I have so much love for this film now. It's such a beautiful story of love, loss, and life. And Phil Parma is this like guardian angel innocent in the middle of this fucked up relationship between father and son and just plays the messenger because he feels like he has to.
Yeah, without him, we don't get one of the best scenes of like movie history. So without his character.
Yeah. The phone call of just like, look, I know it's not my place, but I really feel like you should be here.
Yeah, please don't put me on hold. Please don't put me on hold. I've been waiting. I like when he's ordering stuff and he's like, hustler? The subtlety of Phil Parma, it's underrated, super underrated in his career, and I'll obviously go to bat for it because it's inside a movie that's near and dear to my heart, a movie that we're seeing in 9 days.
Oh, I can't wait for that. I have a bonus for you that you'll find out on the day.
God damn it.
I stumbled onto this and was like, I'm not gonna just leave this here. But we'll get, so the thing I think that really I love the most about the character of Phil Parma, people, with the Oscars, with, notable actors, they always seem to think that like performance is this flashy, screaming, dominating the scene thing, and you're not the best in the room unless you're the loudest. But Hoffman played people. He played people that you could walk up to on the street and like to have a conversation with. He played people you believed existed. And that is a whole nother skill that is not talked about enough when it comes to performance. Playing somebody who, you know, exists, feels like that's
Yes.
different.
Yeah. I'm with you. You're getting zero debate on Magnolia. That's the easiest green all day. All right, so the triple threat from 1999 looks like it's in. Phil from Magnolia, Rusty from Flawless, and Freddie from Talented Mr. Ripley. 2000, two movies. State and Maine, and Almost Famous. Joseph Turner and Lester Bangs. What do you got?
State and Maine was such an interesting watch.
Yeah.
Everyone's such a raging douchebag. Just this, they're like a flock of fucking locusts, just absorbing the town.
It's a great movie about movies.
Oh, like, yeah,
an honest movie about movies.
When he has to retitle the movie because there is no Old Mill, and it's like, but it's called The Old Mill. Like that is so Hollywood.
This is a movie that as I was watching it, I was like, I could see this becoming a favorite of mine, like on a rewatch. I could feel the nuance of it, the talkiness of it in the screenplay. I was like, if I watch this again, I might fall in love. But right now, I like it.
Dude, when like, it's hard not to spoil these, but like towards the end when Hoffman's gonna, testify, and William H. Macy is like trying to drag him out of the courtroom and is like, we'll sue. And he's like, what cause? And he says, we don't need a cause. We just need a lawyer. Like,
yes,
Jesus, that was such a fucking slimeball producer move. And it was too real in the way it portrayed Hollywood and how it worked. Alec Baldwin's whole thing with, little girls and all that shit. It was just like, this is too real.
Yeah.
And I love Hoffman being the innocent writer who's just realizing this about this industry he wanted to be a part of. I wonder how much of that came from a real place. Because he was not an industry player.
No,
he did the occasional big budget, Hunger Games and all that shit, but we all need the money. But
that was late.
that
That
was
was
much
late.
very late. Yeah, he didn't need to do that shit. They wanted him. He very much wanted
They,
to.
as far as I'm concerned, that franchise needed him for some respect.
True. Yeah.
As far as that's just me. I think he's great in those movies, but I mean yeah, I think that movie lacked some respectable acting, and here he comes.
Oh, we'll get to the Hunger Games. I have so many problems with all that shit. But yeah, I love him as the the soul, like the spark of life that's still left in this world. That's kind of who he's playing in State and Maine, and his relationship with the girl, the
Yeah, she's great. God damn it. Here
yeah.
we are. State and Maine. Yeah. Also, Quiz Kid Donnie Smith and Philip Parma going at it again. How about that? Just a year later.
Dude, I fucking adore William H. Macy. He plays fast characters so well. Just these like, move in for one scene, start barking orders at people, bop, 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 and then he's gone. He's like a whirlwind of talent.
Yeah, indeed. And the actress Rebecca Pigeon plays Anne.
And thank you.
She's wonderful.
I love her.
Ricky J also in State and Maine. Little Magnolia reunion a year later.
Yeah, love Ricky J. Uh, just quick sidetrack. My favorite thing Ricky J was ever a part of is Mystery Men. And the scene is when he's in the
also William H. Macy.
Yeah. These guys, you could do a fucking Kevin Bacon game with these guys real quick. When he's in the car with Greg Kinnear and they're pitching ideas and he's like, why don't you just get Death Man? And Ricky J just goes, Death Man is dead in complete deadpan. I never fail to fucking laugh at that.
Ricky J was a excellent line reader, like perfect.
Yeah. But yeah, State and Maine really fell off the radar. I never heard of it till we did this project, and I'm surprised.
Me neither.
It's so up my alley. And
yeah. Now, yeah, I think we both came out like, ooh, like that one and Nobody's Fool. We're like, these are going to be movies we take with us, like these are now put them in the bag. Here we go. It's getting a little heavy, but
yeah, there were a couple more, but yeah,
we're really enjoying those. Is Joseph Turner green, yellow, or red?
It's a yellow.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I'm with you.
It's like a very, very dark yellow, like almost a green yellow.
Yeah, which let's see, what's the green and yellow makes blue? No, what does it make? They all make something, don't they?
Yeah, I don't. The color
I think
pencil
it's blue.
called green yellow, so that's all I got.
No, I have a feeling you're gonna say green for this other 2000 movie, Lester Bang's Almost Famous.
It's a yellow, actually.
I'm with you. This might be. I mean, God, I wish he was in it more. God, that's my main issue with that movie, man. They don't know where the best stuff is at.
Yeah,
I think honestly, and I love this guy. I think Jason Lee is like phoning it in, like totally. I don't think Kate Hudson's very good in it. I just don't think like Billy Crudup's okay. I'm like, this is where the movie is Lester Bangs. Like Lester Bangs is a way more interesting character than anybody on screen, and he's barely in it. I forgot how little he's in this movie. I rewatched it a couple weeks ago, and I was like, fuck, man. Like, this is why I've never really connected with this movie.
Almost Famous is like you're walking in the woods with a video camera and you see you see in like focus Bigfoot right over there. You film him for a couple seconds and then you go and film this family of deer for 2 hours. It's like we all wanted to see Bigfoot. Like, why are you ignoring Bigfoot?
I'm with you. That analogy makes total sense in my head. Yeah, it's just kind of frustrating. I'm not saying it's a bad movie. I'm not saying that. I just think like the other characters are kind of like just like typical, little derivative, and he's so unique.
It's all like they're pretty predictable. You kind of like where it's going. You know how this is going to end.
Yeah.
And I just, I love the highlight of the movie is Lester's like speech about what it means to be cool. Like that's why I like this movie is because
You're
of
not cool, man. Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like turns it on right there. And at the beginning when he first meets him, I'm like, ooh, this is a great character. But we're talking about Hall of Fame here, and you got to make those tough calls. And yeah, I'm with you. It's a yellow. It's someone I'm willing to come back to, but I'm not putting him in for sure.
yeah. Yeah, I agree.
I feel the same way about two movies from 2002. The other two I have greens. Can you guess what they are?
I have a feeling your greens are Punch Drunk Love and 25th Hour.
No.
Oh, okay.
Punch Drunk Love green. 25th Hour yellow. Red Dragon red.
Yeah, okay.
Love Liza green.
Love Liza. Okay. Okay.
I think Love Liza is like one of his finest performances.
That I liked Love Liza. There were just so many different directions I think it could have gone.
Oh, it's a fucking weird movie, but
It,
he's great.
he is, yeah. He's tapping into his, history of addiction. I'm gonna give you the green for Love
Uh,
Liza.
we can go yellow. I'm very willing to come back. We're gonna have to come back around at some point.
Yeah.
We
I'm
have
really,
we have a long way to go. We're about halfway, a little over halfway. So let's give it yellow. We'll come back around. Punch Drunk green.
oh yeah, of course.
Okay. Now the other two. Where are you at? Red Dragon 25th Hour.
Red Dragon, just because I love the movie, I have it as a yellow, but I had a feeling that wasn't gonna make it into the hall.
It's yeah, I like it, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not like I probably should rewatch it. It's been a long time. So that might be a part of the issue.
It's the character's such a scumbag. Freddie Lounds is this piece of shit, tabloid journalist who. But the scene where he gets, kidnapped by Francis Dollarhide and tortured is pretty fucking great, pretty dark.
Oh yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
his performance in that is like the second he realizes where he is, he's like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. You can see it in his eyes. He's so fucking terrified. And he did that so well. So for that scene alone, like if it was just me, it would go in there. But
Okay.
I knew it was I knew this was not gonna be, best of material. And I can
Let's call it yellow. We'll come back around if we need to. Freddie Lounds.
fair enough. Uh and yeah, 25th hour. I'm really surprised that wasn't like immediate for you.
It's not. It's not. I gotta say, I don't think I've watched that since I did it. I did it in preparation for an episode. Probably either To Five Bloods when we did that way back on Oscar
I
Sunday,
I think it was
Do the Right,
I think it was our first like for our first PSH episode.
or that, which would have been even longer ago. So so Red Dragon and 25th Hour very possibly could have been greens for me. It's just it's been a minute. Whereas like Almost Famous, I watched it. I'm glad I did because I solidified like not quite. You know.
I do. 25th hour I haven't gone back to. I like the idea. I thought it was with a lot of Spike Lee's movies. I love the concept and I think the execution could have been so much better.
Yeah, I hear you on that, man. One of the most audacious directors to ever live.
Yeah. And I'm almost afraid to say that sometimes, you know?
Don't be. I actually think he likes that. I think he knows how fucking wild like his decisions are at times. Because when it works, it fucking works like really, really, really well. Like one of the best like peaks of a director I've ever watched. Where when it's slapping, it's like this is movie making at its finest.
Yeah.
And then if the decision doesn't work for you as a viewer, it can be pretty low. It can happen.
Yeah. But 25th hour is a good movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I get Hoffman's whole bit really doesn't make any sense. Like it doesn't have to be there. Like it's almost its own little short film inside this movie.
It's almost like, oh, we have this thing, and or we have this guy, we have Phil, like we have to use him, and they probably didn't use him for the right thing or mismanaged the writing, and I'm pretty sure 25th Hour is not written by
No,
Spike.
it's written by the Game of Thrones guys, I believe.
That yeah, that's right.
That's
just
why the
directed
writing's
by
not up to par.
yeah. So you never know, things could have been different, but No, so yeah, I've got, or we've got Love Liza, yellow, Red Dragon yellow, 25th Hour yellow, Punch Drunk Love, Dean, green, green, green. shut, shut, shut up. Uh,
My God, I watched that like 3 times today. That
uh,
scene. It's
yeah.
why don't you
Have you
shut the
have you
fuck up?
seen the commercial? Have you seen the commercial they made?
No.
Dude, I will send it to you immediately. It's a minute long. I'll send it to you immediately after we finish recording. He does a commercial for the mattress like company. It's on the special features, and then it's on YouTube. Like absolute gold. It's I was like, this is one of the best minutes of it's. You can log it on Letterboxd. And so I did, and I just said, just pure magic. It is. It's brilliant. He's so funny, and that character Dean is like one of his most memorable.
Yeah, I it's such a weird character, like a mattress salesman who moonlights as a like fake pimp who's extorting people who call the service. It's such a weird character. And our villain, I guess, and uh Barry's like, journey to settle things with this guy is so damn rewarding when he finally
Yeah,
gets there and just threatens him. And but Dean has to have that one last word, but then he's like, all right, that's that. Like he backs off immediately.
he's like, okay. I love Sandler's line reading of, I'd say that's that mattress man. uh, yeah, PSH is his hair in this, his costume, like his outfit, how like red his face gets in certain moments. It's all just working like beautifully in this movie. And this is where I think PTA, where most writer directors probably don't understand that quote that you said at first, which was the there's no small parts, there's only small actors, that whole thing. uh I think PTA like was like, he can be just as effective with this Dean character as anyone the entire year can be with a lead performance. He's that good. He fits that well into this character. It's perfect. It's one of the first things I think about when I think about Phil.
Yeah, it's hysterical, it's weird, it's just yeah, it really, gives Adam Sandler something to work with we've never seen him do before, which was fantastic. Yeah, that movie's gold.
Yeah, it's God, it's the best. It makes me want, every time I talk about it, I want to watch it. It's one of those things. It's probably the most unique PTA movie as well. So love it to death. So that's 2002. We skipped 2001 because there's nothing in that year, and we move on to 2003. One heater and one. We have a Cold Mountain, which is just not for me. Everyone's quote unquote good in it. You know what I mean? Movie just like totally doesn't work for me. It falls flat, boring as hell at times. Where on the other hand, you have the small budget, low key owning Mahoney, where PSH is putting in quite possibly his best lead performance,
Yeah,
depending on who you're talking to.
easy green, easy green.
You're like one of the first like three or four I thought of. Like that's like Mount Rushmore PSH.
I This is a movie that you never, like, you only find it by people who've seen it. Like it's a word of mouth movie. My uncle
Mm.
showed it to me and I showed it to you. And it's such an amazing depiction of gambling addiction. Like the one of the best depictions of that, based on a true story of a Canadian bank manager who committed insane levels of fraud to feed his addiction. And yeah, I love the almost inhumanity of his addiction. Like he doesn't, it's just money to play. Doesn't matter if he wins, he just needs to play. It's crazy. I've never seen gambling addiction portrayed like this.
Yeah, yeah, and so charismatic and so engaging, and you're kind of like, stop, but please keep going. you you're with him on this ride that is just relentless and so nasty and so fucking unhealthy. But because of how good he is, you're like, I could watch this for a few more hours. Him just this like spiraling.
You want to
I love movies like this where they're just like I can't stop. You know, the uncut gems. One of my favorite gambling movies, California Split. There's definitely like oof, I can't stop type thing, and then of course Rounders is like this chasing that elusive feeling that you're never gonna get. You're never gonna get.
no, it's you almost want to see how deep he can dig the hole. Like that's what you're watching here. Like you know this ain't gonna end well. You know he's not gonna have a moment of like, oh, what have I done? Like the scene where he, tells his friend, like, this is my emergency money, do not let me tab this. And then like 10 minutes later, he's like berating his friend to give him the money. It's
Yeah, I love that scene because he's like, whatever I do, whatever I say, it's almost like when someone is like, hey, I'm like I've actually had something like this happen where I had a buddy who was like going through like a tough breakup, and we were like, oh, let's go get our buddy drunk, and he like was like, I'm gonna get hammered. Don't let me text her. Don't let me call her. Don't let me do any of these things. And like a couple hours later, and he's like, give me my phone. And I'm like, nah, dog, like you told me. It's like I'm not allowing that, but they kind of become almost an animal, almost like, but I have to. Like otherwise I won't get from here to there, point A to point B. And this is just to a greater extent because you're dealing with money, tons and tons of money, and he won't let go. It's a like brilliant performance inside of a movie that has no business being this good. And I love it. I love Owning Mahoney. I'm so glad you let me borrow it that one time, long time ago. I've watched it since, a few times, and I just think it's a staple in his career. I just think it's one of his greatest achievements.
it really made me realize that, like, because certain addiction, somebody's addicted to cocaine or alcohol, that you can understand that. You can understand the addictive side of that drug. You can understand the personality changes. You see it as a problem that they want to actively stop, and you might be able to help them work through.
Yeah.
Certain other things like gambling addiction, sex addiction, a lot of people just laugh at.
Mm.
This made me see gambling addiction as a very serious disease. Just from
Yes.
his
Good point.
performance and the
Good point.
way he played this character, like he's going through something like, heroin addiction. It's an obsession. It's all he cares about. He's willing to destroy his entire life chasing this endless high. And yeah, in the end, he fucking paid for it.
Yeah.
But it's, yeah, like you said, this movie has no business being this good. It's so cheaply made. And you can tell he took it because he wanted to play the role. It had nothing to do with the money. And
Yeah. Because this is a guy who just came off of working with PTA, Spike Lee. He's in Cold Mountain that year. He's about to do really, really amazing things, being in bigger stuff, and he doesn't need to do this. Does not need to do this. This little movie that made $1 million at the box office was on a tiny budget, just like no need at all. But man, are we lucky to have it?
yeah, I'm hoping it gets a Blu-ray release at some point because I want it in my collection.
You still have that DVD though?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? Yeah, why wouldn't? Why wouldn't you, man? It's such like like what the definition of a diamond in the rough. Ugh. People, please. I don't think this is streaming anywhere. But if you ever trip across Owning Mahoney, like give it a whirl. You will not regret it.
Yeah, I'm hoping this works as our word of mouth to the next person.
Even if one motherfucker out there says, "I'm gonna," okay, all right, shut up. I'm gonna go watch it. We have done our job tonight. Have you seen Cold Mountain?
Yeah, I was not a fan.
He's good in it, right? He's doing his normal. He's good, of course, as a Reverend. Can't remember what his name is. Reverend.
VZ.
Yes, there we go. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't. It doesn't stand out. Doesn't stand out. You look at a character like Dan Mahoney, and you're like, I mean, a lot more interesting.
Yeah. There's not a lot of good Civil War movies. There's not. Which is a shock.
Yeah,
Hmm.
we might get one here.
That
In 2024.
that doesn't count. That's no. I'm talking like history.
Okay. You mean actual
I'm not counting, fucking
period piece.
Alex Garland Civil War, and I'm not counting Captain America Civil War either.
All right, just clarifying. That's great. Okay, so that's it for 2003. We move to his solo adventure in 2004. What a turn, especially from a movie like Cold Mountain. Sandy Lyle and Along Came Polly. I don't know, man. This might belong. He is unbelievable in this, and is the only reason this movie's watchable.
I have this as a green.
Yes, make it rain.
Oh my god. Missing every fucking shot. Rain dance. Like, oh my god.
That that whole scene is like belongs in a museum. Those two guys come up and he's like, play 2-on-2. Did you douchebags bring your A game? And the guy's like, what? He's like, nothing, Sasquatch. Let's go. White chocolate.
Oh my god.
And then the sharded bit is amazing. The pizza bit where he's like dripping grease onto his pizza. In the elevator, I'm so friggin' horny. There's like 12 people around him. I mean, this movie again is not very good, but he is lights out.
It's a funny comedy that he is just elevating to the highest point. I love that he could do that with comedy too. Like he just
yeah.
He's the fucking man. And
he's hilarious.
My aunt is obsessed with the sharded scene. Like that she quotes that all the time because it blew her mind. It blew all of our minds. I'd never heard that word before.
Yeah.
I think he coined it.
So I brought that up to a coworker who's a bit older than I am. We were talking about, he's like, oh, I told him I'm recording, and he's like, oh, what episode are you doing? I was telling him about, we're doing Philip Seymour Hoffman, and he's like, oh, he don't really know what movies I've seen of his, and I named a few. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, I know that one. And I was like, he loves comedy. So I was like, he's in that comedy with Ben Stiller, Along Came Polly. And he's like, oh, yeah. He's like, that one's really good with Jennifer Aniston. I'm like, yeah. And I was like, I think he coined the term sharded. He was like, no way. He's like, when did that come out? And I was like, 2004. And he's like, you know what? I feel like I didn't start. This is hilarious. You've met this guy. He said, I don't think I started saying sharded till I was about 30. And that's about when that movie came out. You're goddamn right. That's beautiful.
That's fantastic. 100%. I love this character. He's he's a good friend and an idiot who
yeah
honestly,
Sandy Lyle.
I love all his scenes, but the scene I laugh hardest in that movie is when Alec Baldwin walks into the bathroom to talk to Ben Stiller, and he's like talking about a job, and he's like vigorously shaking his dick.
Underrated. So You're right. That is a great bit.
He's just like talking business with just like he's fucking drag queening down there. It's weird.
Alec Baldwin is massive cock. What a weird movie. Like I was actually, I didn't rewatch this. I've seen it maybe a couple years ago for this project. It's not on anything right now.
I rewatched it about mid last year when it was on Netflix, and I'm glad I did. I have a whole new appreciation for it. It's really funny.
Oh yeah, I used to think just the basketball scene was funny. Then I was like, you know what? Every time PSH is on the screen, it's knockout. Right at the beginning when he's like, because he's like his best man or whatever, Ben Stiller at the beginning or whatever, and he like trips. It's the way he falls, and he's like taste testing stuff. Oh man, yeah, he's lights out. I'm so glad we're on the same page here because I was worried. I was like, am I gonna have to be the weirdo who goes to bat for Sandy? Nope. No. Here we are.
No, same page. Yeah,
we're both weird. All right, we're about 2/3 of the way through here. Let's keep it rolling. We got 3 films from 2005. One of them is a TV movie that was like a 2-part thing released on HBO called Empire Falls. We have another smaller film called Strangers with Candy, and then what some would say is his magnum opus, his Oscar-winning performance as Truman Capote in Capote. Very, very different movies here. I have not seen Strangers with Candy. I was able to watch Empire Falls on Max. I actually really liked it. It's really long because it's two parts. It's like close to 3 hours. He's not in it a ton, but he's really good in it. I wouldn't put it in the hall, but Capote, I feel like this is a no brainer. It's one of those kind of transformational. How did he do the voice so good? He doesn't. You've mentioned this. He doesn't really lose any weight. Doesn't gain any weight. All he does is slick his hair this way, and you're like, oh my god, he kind of looks like Truman Capote. It's like, and then the voice he's doing the entire film. I don't love Capote, but what he's doing is like, wow, this is. I get it. I get why this is one of those, and this is his winner. I get it.
To be fair, he did lose some weight for this one. He did slim
He
himself up a
definitely,
bit.
yeah. He's not Along Came Polly, Dad Bod. He's not doing that. Yeah.
But then in 06, he's got it back. So it was
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Which we'll get there in a second. Oh boy.
But yeah, his performance in Capote is lights out. It's so transformative and so devoted to the guy. If you ever saw Truman Capote talk, you know how spot on this was. And
Yeah. Kind of scary.
the scene at the end when he actively tried to stop the execution and was like telling him like I tried. It's so heartbreaking and just so powerful. And it's very little dialogue and it's mostly just facial acting.
Yeah.
You can see why that was the Academy made the right call to award him the statue for that movie.
Yeah, and what's wild is after all this stuff that we've named from 1992 to 2005, this is his first nomination, Capote, and he gets the win right out the gate. Nearly 40 years old here when it came out.
Curious, of the stuff we've named so far, do you think there's anything there that warranted a nomination?
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, owning Mahoney right away, best lead actor. I'd probably say, I know this is just so unrealistic, but I'd say Punch Drunk Love, best supporting actor. Lebowski, I'd consider for supporting actor. Boogie Nights, Flawless, I would think about. Magnolia, best supporting actor. Get Michael Caine out of there. Yeah, and others I would think about, but those are definitely ones that come to mind right away of what we've talked about.
Interesting. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, he's my guy, so I'm just biased. Yeah.
But yeah, Capote's a good movie, but a stellar performance.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's not like one of the best films of the 2000s, but it's one of the best performances of the 2000s as far as just, wow, this guy watched some film, listened to some recording, and captured exactly what he was about. So that's like the job. He did the job well. And Catherine Keener, man, she's fucking great too. And those two together is it's such a random but such a unique pairing, and they're great. So, have you seen Strangers with Candy? We haven't talked about this one.
I tried so hard to find that.
Me too.
It's I guess it's based on a series. So it's like a movie remake or like a movie sequel to a popular series. And it's pretty much non-existent. I couldn't find it anywhere. I couldn't find a DVD. Like this thing's buried.
Yeah. And Empire Falls, I know you didn't get around to. I kind of told you, hey, he's not really in it that much. He's very effective in the scenes he's in, but this is really an Ed Harris showcase, Empire Falls, and I love Ed Harris, so I was okay with it. I was like, all right, cool. Paul Newman is also in it quite a bit. He plays Ed Harris's dad. What the fuck? Hell yeah. So I enjoyed it, but yeah, it's not a PSH, Hall of Fame worthy performance. All right, this one is though. 2006. Owen Davian, Mission Impossible 3. Way better than any villain in this entire franchise. Owen Davian by a landslide for me. This movie, Mission Impossible 3, I mean, I love these movies because I'm just a fan, but this movie is not good. It looks like a TV movie. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look like a proper action movie that's cost a ton of money. But when Owen Davian comes on the screen, you're like, Okay, I'm in. I'm in. This guy is freaky.
I I do not like the first three Mission Impossibles. I think all three of those are just bad movies. Four through seven I've enjoyed. But when you
I fucking love the first two. Two is horrible, but I love it.
admittedly I've seen them once, so maybe I should.
No, you're not forgetting. Two is like so over the top, like slow mo, like Tom Cruise has long hair. It's bad, but I love it.
You jump from Doug Ray Scott to Philip Seymour Hoffman in terms of quality, you're gonna give people fucking whiplash. Uh
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that role, Owen Davian, I'm sure in the script is a fucking generic ass arms dealer movie of like monster of the week bad guy. Just whatever. I would bet money everything that's amazing about that character came from Hoffman.
100%, 100%. And it's a reunion between Magnolia co-stars Tom Cruise and PSH, and Tom Cruise upstages PSH in Magnolia, and PSH is like, it's my turn, motherfucker.
Dude, it's like he's playing the villain in a completely different movie that is way better than the shit show we're watching right now. Like he does not need to go that hard, but
No,
he doesn't know how
no.
to phone it in. He can't physically do it.
Um, so this is Green.
Yes.
um, and I was 11. We were both 11 when this movie came out. I saw this in theaters. I hadn't seen the first two. My dad is obsessed with Mission Impossible movies and has passed that down to me. And we saw this in theaters. And while the movie was playing, and the scene still to this day, it makes me laugh because I love it so much. It's like a defense mechanism. I'm gonna find her. Well, I'm gonna hurt her. I'd like tug my dad on the shirt, and I was like, "Who's that?" And that was it. That was the first time I ever saw him. First time I ever recognized like, who, this is it. This is like, okay, like I see why people love this. Like I see why, like, that guy's scary.
Dude, Owen Davian was your introduction to Philip Seymour Hoffman. Holy shit.
And I'm goddamn proud of it.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. My dad took me to see that. And I still remember the car ride. It was just me and him. I remember everything about that night. We saw it in Northwoods because we lived a little north of there. Like Draft House hadn't existed yet. It was a little closer to our house than Embassy was, and so we would go to Northwoods every now and again. And this is yes, I was 11, and it's over half my life ago, and I remember every little detail about that experience because of Owen Davian, not because it was like this lights out action movie, but because the villain brought the film to life. And when a villain is good enough in an action movie, the stakes become real. He becomes scary. He becomes like, okay, that guy needs to die. And that's what, to me, Mission Impossible 3, I still watch it and I love it because of him.
Well, first of all, just shooting it out there, Red Dragon was mine.
2002. You
Yeah.
saw it in theaters or you were 7?
I watched that at home because my mom, I love my mom to death. She was an amazing parent, still is, but she had a habit of forgetting how hardcore certain things were and then showing them to me as a kid. And
yeah.
we were watching Red Dragon. I had never seen Silence of the Lambs or Hannibal, so I had no context.
I would hope so.
Yeah, I was 7.
You're like,
I think we watched it when I was like 9 or 10, though, so it'd have been a few years since it came out. But Freddy gets kidnapped. He gets glued to the chair. Francis bites his goddamn tongue out, and at that point, I was frozen. And then he comes wheeling down the road and like on fire, and I left the room and had nightmares. I didn't see the second half of Red Dragon for years.
You're like, yeah, I'll wait.
That was my intro to BSH. Was like, this is terrifying.
I gotta get out of here. Yeah. Oh man. I love movies.
I do. Oh. In that scene that you're talking about with Owen Davian, I'm gonna find her, I'm gonna hurt her. I love the like undertone of disgust in his voice. Like, I can't believe you're making me do this. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna torture this woman because of you.
Like this was not on my agenda. So like
Now I gotta deal with it.
you put it on my agenda. Like, couldn't
Your
you just
fault.
like go? He's kind of like, couldn't you go save some whales or something? Like
He's
you fucking Boy Scout. Like,
he's such a real threat, like a real legitimate monster. Compared to the rest of the villains in this franchise, you got like goofy John Voight, you got over the top Doug Ray Scott, you got I don't even remember. I think it was Michael Nyqvist in four, and then
yeah,
what's his name?
5.
John Harris in Rogue Nation, and then you had you know Cavill, and
Cavill's good.
he
Cavill's
was
good.
he was cool, and then there was
Oh yeah.
I think Isai Morales in Dead Reckoning. So all those guys are shit compared to this dude who feels like he was ripped off the FBI's 10 most wanted page and thrown into this fucking movie. Like
Yeah.
everyone else is in a cartoon, he's in a fucking like episode of The Wire. Like he's playing this for real.
Yeah, I totally hear that. Yeah, everybody's by the numbers. It's hard to even remember any of their names, but Owen Davian is like,
Yeah.
like
I honestly don't
he.
remember the characters of like the villain characters from the rest of the movie. I don't remember their names, but I
I
got
know.
Obi Davian's like right here.
Yeah, I know Ethan Hunt. And I know Owen Davian is the best villain. Like, and that's that.
It makes me wish
Yeah.
he played more villains. He was so fucking good at it.
Oh my God. Yes. Like, yeah, we know he can turn it up and do kind of like the yelling thing, but he's so good at that, like menacing, like you're gonna regret ever messing with me.
I remember when the Dark Knight came out and everyone was like, what's Nolan doing with the next Batman movie? There was a push to try to cast Philip Seymour Hoffman as the Penguin.
I
And
don't even want to. I didn't know that. I don't even
yeah,
want to know about that.
there was fan fervor. They wanted him to play the Penguin, and there were mock-ups and like fan like art of what he would look like. And I was like, that would have been fucking awesome.
He would have been perfect.
Yeah.
Oh man. That sucks.
I know.
Robbed.
Yeah, I do. Certain performers, when we lose them, it does feel like we haven't just lost them, we've lost decades of potential art, and that
And
hurts.
so, yeah, and certainly with you mentioned Dark Knight, like Heath Ledger. I mean, we just lost so
He
much.
was he was up against Hoffman in the '05 Oscars for Brokeback Mountain, and that was kind of surreal to see that.
That would have actually been my vote, but I get why it went to Phil. But yeah, my vote. Oh my God, he is what he does in Brokeback is like. Whew. Anybody else want to step up? you know,
That movie fucking
uh,
hurt my soul. But yes, let's go. Let's continue.
yeah, yeah, love it to death. Oh 05. So fucking Crash, man. God damn it. Like all this cool shit and then Crash.
I'll never forget Jack Nicholson announcing it and then being like, "Huh." Looking around like, didn't see that coming. Like on
Yeah.
stage in front of the cameras, like,
I was in movies that sucked that were better than this. Okay, 2007. Owen Davian is in 2007. 3 movies. God damn it! This is it just gets we're getting to a special place here in his career. We're gonna start seeing some bangers. So we'll try to have a little pace to it, but no guarantees when we talk about a movie like the Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. Um, yeah, Green, The Savages, and Charlie Wilson's War, which is another Oscar-nominated film from PSH. Gust is a great character. John Savage is a good character, but Andy Hansen is one of his best characters.
so many great roles to pick from, so little spaces. As Andy Hansen would say, it's not fair.
Oh God, damn it! Why'd you have to?
Dude, I think this is his best work. I think Before the Devil Knows You're Dead is his best performance. I personally do think that.
I'm not ever gonna argue that. I think I rewatched that movie. I forgot how good it is. I remembered both of us being like, "God damn," But then I was like, "Oh, like this is." I moved it up from 4 stars to 4.5 on Letterboxd, 8 to 9. Like I think this movie fucking rules, and he's great. Ethan Hawke is great. Fucking Albert Finney is going toe to toe with PSH, dude. Like, there's a couple scenes where I'm like, dude, is this your movie? Like, holy shit, Albert Finney, my guy.
Apparently, like Sidney Lumet called the scene in the car, the it's not fair. Sidney Lumet said that was the finest bit of acting he had ever witnessed.
Can you argue with that?
But this
I
is a
mean,
guy who
it's Sidney
directed.
Lumet.
He
Yeah.
directed Henry Fonda. He directed like these amazing performers, and in his last movie, he's like, Philip Seymour Hoffman's the greatest actor I've ever worked with. Like fucking hell. Like hear that from
Uh,
Sidney Lumet. My God.
Dude, how on earth is this not up for best actor? Like, what world are we living in where you can watch this movie and it's not like, yeah, he's one of the five, guys that should be in the spot. And not I'm not just saying like, because I know five spots is really tight. There's a lot of little movies out there, but this guy's already been nominated. How is he not? How is he not here? He's in Charlie Wilson's War and he's nominated.
Yeah.
He's way better in this movie. Like, I love Gust, and it's a supporting role, but like Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, the guy's doing heroin. Like, reward this motherfucker for going down the darkest alley that you can go down as a former heroin addict and a guy who's obviously struggles with that in later years. Are you kidding me? And that scene, the stuff with Marissa Tomei, excellent. Like, she is like, anytime you're with him one-on-one, you're like, I better up my game. Like, or he's gonna make me look like a fucking chump. Like, he's so good. He makes everybody like figure it out. Cause like, I'm not going nowhere. I'm not lowering my effort because you're not as, renowned as I am. So Tomei is like, okay. And Ethan Hawke is like, sounds good. I'll do my best. It's not good enough. But they're trying, and that's my favorite thing about PSH and the support he gives other actors is that it's that stuff where like I can score, but I can also pass and assist and rebound and do these different things. Like I am everything. I do everything on the court, everything. Those are my favorite people, and he's the best at it.
For me, it's the willingness to go to a place like that as a recovering heroin addict who's been in that situation, to say I will go back there to capture the reality of it. I wonder if that played a part in his relapse.
Yeah, you definitely wonder, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just 5, 6, 7 years later, he starts, messing with stuff again. Yeah.
But that scene in the car, it comes like I react to it on a primal level because I've got my own issues with my father, and I've had that reaction. I've had it recently. I've had that moment of like, it's not like you have to think about your whole life in terms of who left it and who left you, and to realize you can't just say sorry and let it all, expect it all to just go away. That's not possible. To witness that, come out of one of my favorite actors in a very real way, it's never left my mind. I think about that scene at least once a week. It's so important and personal to me.
Dude, that's sad but very beautiful. I hope you realize the nuance of that particular moment in that movie. I definitely, when I watch it, I was like, this is one of the ones, this Owning Mahoney. There's the movies that like Connor and I are taken to the grave. this is like, nobody really gets it. These are ours. These are like going in our personal collection of, if we had our own Criterion, these are in it.
I don't know why they're not in the regular fucking Criterion. Before the Devil did not get enough credit at all by anybody.
Yeah, people are just too goddamn, they're too like picky. They're too, because the movie, it doesn't feel like a Lumet movie. Fucking sue him. The guy, this is it. It was over. He's fucking old as shit. Like,
if he made it, it's a fucking Lumet movie.
Correct. And I actually think its charm is how like cheap it looks at times. It kind of has this like raw look to it. It has a couple editing moments that are like, huh, that was odd. That was an odd choice. I actually find that really charming. And I don't need a movie to be fucking Citizen Kane all the time. I need a movie to be its own thing. I need a movie to be Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. I need it to be that. And that it's damn near perfect at what it's doing. So I love this movie to death. You're talking about who I call my favorite actor of all time and the guy that I call my movie dad, Ethan Hawke, as brothers. So yeah, I love this movie to death. The other 2007 movies, The Savages, I like what he's doing in it. I actually really like that movie. You and I also watched that for that PSH episode we did way back. I wouldn't quite put it in the Hall of Fame, but I think Gust has an argument here. Charlie Wilson's War.
Yeah, he's about the only thing holding that movie together. I like the idea, I love the story of this Texas congressman who decided to, just I might start World War III. I don't care as long as I get paid. Just this crazy ass guy, and then Gust being this, paranoid CIA agent who's just like, yeah, I'll get you the guns, whatever. Yeah, he's so wacky, and his introduction is in this movie is an understandable frustration. I love, this guy who's been spending years learning how to speak Finnish and then not getting the Helsinki field office position. I'd react exactly the same way.
It's a brilliant scene. Yeah.
My grandpa had a similar thing.
I love what's the lady's the lady who's out there and he's like, how'd I do? She's like, very convincing. Yeah. Great stuff.
My grandpa had a similar situation happen to him when he was stationed in the army. He was under the impression he was going to be sent to, I believe it was Okinawa. So he took a lot of Japanese language classes, became pretty good at it, and then they sent him to like fucking Kansas.
Dude, God, that's
so now he kind of sometimes has a little Japanese, but never needed it, so it kind of disappeared.
Yeah, that is beyond frustrating. It's just that just feels like people are just fucking with you, just to see if you can do it. Yeah,
there is in the government there is that happens a fucking lot. Yes.
Yeah. As far as Gus goes, I got yellow.
Yeah, I'll give you the yellow.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, he's kind of the reason you would watch this movie. Other than forgot how goddamn gorgeous Emily Blunt is in this movie. It's like, goddamn, and here she is, Oscar nominated, first time Oscar nominee here at the coming up 96 Academy Awards for Oppenheimer. Good for her. 2008, we have two films. Doubt, where he plays Father Flynn in a very, very intense movie alongside Meryl Streep and Amy Adams. And Synecdoche, New York, he plays Caden Cotter. Kaufman movie. Big time, what do you call this? Acquired taste, I'll say. I like it. I'm not like huge fan. I actually love Doubt, but I'm not like a huge fan of Synecdoche. I do think I need to see it again. I've only seen it probably twice. It's one of those that kind of, you kind of like got to grapple with. He's very good in it, but I'd give it a yellow. And Doubt, Father Flynn, I'd also give a yellow.
Synecdoche's a hard red for me.
Okay.
I didn't care for that movie. I thought it was weird. I didn't know what the hell he was going for. I didn't know what the hell Kaufman was going for, and I'm just like, why does this kind of movie keep drifting in my lane?
That's great.
Yeah, it's the movie equivalent of the minivan in front of you that's going 30 in a 70 zone and you can't pass it.
That's brilliant. You're crushing it with the analogies today. I tell you.
I know, I'm on fucking fire. It's been a minute since I've been stockpiling for when we would do our next one.
For PSH specifically. That's great.
I have Doubt as a yellow as well. I think it's a great performance piece. I think Meryl Streep is a little better, a little bit better in this one.
You know who's the best in this movie? Viola Davis.
Yeah, in her like one scene, she fucking kills it.
She like lights up Meryl Streep. She's like, "Oh, hi, Meryl. Check this out." I love when someone who's like looks at someone and is like, "I don't really care." It's like a rookie going up to Michael Jordan and being like, "Let's play."
See, you got him. You got him too. You got the analogy.
We're both right here. Let's try this. Let's try this thing. I love when people go toe to toe. It's one of the coolest things. Like two titans just going at it. And Viola since then has become one of the best.
Oh yeah. And Hoffman in this is just he's either an innocent victim or an absolute monster. Like it's a complete coin flip, and you really don't know.
Which I love. I love that. I think it's a sweet touch. That makes this movie like rewatchable because you're kind of like, oh, what's the nuance of the performances and what these characters doing? Can you read Father Flynn differently on a different watch? Can you make a judgment? I ultimately have been like, oh, man, I don't know. I can see it both ways. It's that kind of thing where you feel differently every time you watch it. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the idea of, a person of such devout faith having it shaken is always such a fascinating character study.
Oh
And
yes.
Streep, especially to play somebody so focused on believing that she's doing God's work, to have that moment of like, am I? Just that little
I
voice being like, are you sure
yes.
you are? And it completely shakes her foundations. Yeah, it's fascinating to me.
I have my doubts. Yeah. Great. Great stuff. I love that movie. Definitely check it out if you haven't seen that one. 2009. Interesting year here. Then like one of my favorite movies that he was ever in. A movie I haven't seen in a long, long time to where I wouldn't say I've even seen it. And then an animated movie that blew my mind. First one up, one of my favorites, Pirate Radio, plays the Count. This is a green for me. I love, love, love this character. And then there's The Invention of Lying, which I haven't seen in forever. I count it as a something I haven't seen. It's one of those where he plays Jim the bartender. And then Marion Max, where he plays Max Horowitz. Wow, did that movie totally like sweep me off my feet? And he's doing a voice when he comes in. You're like, what the fuck? It's like, oh, as if we didn't need another reason to think that you're amazing. You're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and voice like one of the most unique performances of my career in this animated movie that is really, really good, really rewarding. I know we both got to watch this one. God damn, dude, what? Where were we? Why haven't we seen this yet?
Because I'd never heard of it. It got no attention.
Ugh.
And the under the radar stuff, like that's where you want to go. That's the sweetest fruit is the one that falls from the tree.
That's right.
And did I just make that up? That's fucking profound. I'm gonna pocket that one.
The sweetest fruit is. I like that. Put that on a fucking t-shirt with PSH, just kind of like,
But yeah,
smoking a pipe.
this is such a great story of friendship and like a very strange kind of love.
Mm.
And just I
Like like pen pal love. Like,
yeah,
what a cool, yeah. God, this movie
pen
rules.
pal love that like saves lives. Like the only lifeline these people have.
Yeah,
And
dude.
it's so like there's a moment where she's like, gonna end it, and his, his package is what saves the day. It's like that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, this movie was a roller coaster, and the ending was so fucking bittersweet. Like
Mm.
you could read it as like a beautiful ending, you could read it as an absolute tragedy, and I kind of have mixed feelings.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. This is definitely a movie I'm gonna rewatch at some point. Like what he's doing, the like chocolate, like the like kind of like the SpongeBob voice, but like hardcore New Yorker, like what?
SpongeBob boy.
The
I know
chocolate.
exactly what you were talking about.
But
Yeah.
he's also doing like a chocolate, like a. I'm like, what? Where did you conjure this up, dude? Like,
Oh.
you're insane. I have it yellow. I was close to making this green. What he's doing, because it's unlike anything he's done.
When I was young, I invented an invisible friend called Mr. Ravioli. My psychiatrist says I don't need him anymore, so he just sits in the corner and reads.
Yes, that was pretty good.
I I like the New York voice.
Yeah, it's a fun, especially PSH doing like a hardcore, because I think he was born there and of course like lived there a lot, but
with
what?
with Toni Collette as well, who's also just such an amazing job.
And she doesn't come in till later. Like her
Yep.
voice, you're like, "Where's Toni? Where's Toni?" Because like I love, we both love Toni Collette. I'm kind of like, man, it would have been cool to get a movie with them too, like live action, like as like a couple or something.
I would have loved to see this live action.
Oh Jesus,
That would have been dark as fuck.
That
That
would
would have been really
have broke me. Yeah.
But yeah,
Fucking
it's a very under the radar claymation film. I'm surprised it wasn't up for animated film. This is like
that's my main thing. This looks like right up there, for like. There's always one per year that's like, this is for adults.
Yeah. Where did we watch? Was this on Prime?
I think it's on Tubi or something. I think I watched it on like a free. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
Can we just take a minute to say god for Tubi.
Tubi is amazing.
It's free and it has such an incredible selection of everything. It's
Like
really amazing.
like classics.
Classics, modern stuff, TV shows, documentaries, original content, weird off the wall horror movies. It's literally got everything. It's so good. Oh,
Yeah. What is this? It sounds like it's yellow for both of us.
it's yellow.
Max
It is yellow.
and Pirate Radio. What do you got?
I have Pirate Radio as a yellow.
Okay, I can live with that. I can come back around to it, but the count fucking rules.
I love Pirate Radio. It's such a cool movie. It's such a great story. I can't believe there was a time where fucking rock music was illegal in England. It's fucking crazy.
Pussies, yeah.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, I just love this guy who's devoted to breaking the law in the coolest way possible. This is what Lester
Yeah.
Bangs wanted to be.
Oh yeah, that's put very well. Yes, you can feel it. You can feel like Lester Bangs and the Count are the same person.
Yeah.
It's the same guy.
I believe it.
Yeah,
I just
and the invention of lying. Have you seen that?
I'm in the same boat as you. I saw it so long ago. I do not
I don't
remember it.
I don't remember like a second of it.
The
Yeah.
only scene I remember is Jennifer Garner about to go on a date with Ricky Gervais and being like, "Sorry, I'm late. I was upstairs masturbating." It's like
Sweet.
it's a
Sick.
great idea, like a world where nobody knows, like nobody ever thought to lie, so everyone tells the truth, no matter how painful or awkward or honest it is. It's a great idea.
And it is awkward. Okay. We're in an interesting spot here. We've got not a lot of movies left, but only four green spots left.
Okay.
I think we're gonna be good. I think we're gonna be able to come back around because we're going to 2010. Jack Goes Boating. This is a big deal because this is a movie that he directed. Philip Seymour Hoffman. He plays, of course, Jack, the main character. He was also in a play, Jack Goes Boating, same name, and he loved it so much on the stage that he wanted to make it into a movie. I think that's really cool. If we were doing like most important pieces of his career, I'd put this in there. But when we're going straight up performance, I'm not quite there with it.
I do not like the white guy dreads. I really don't.
Neither do I.
Yeah.
Not a good touch.
It's
Not
gross.
a good touch. Very 2010.
Yeah, it's disgusting. And the character is just he's almost too nuanced. I don't really know what he's going for at times. Like, is this guy supposed to be like a loner, or is he mentally ill, or what? Like, is he just awkward, or is he like autistic? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. A little unclear.
Yeah. And I think it's a good movie. I would have loved to have seen what else he'd direct. But
me too. Me too. Yeah. Right. It's cool that it happened, and I would love to have seen him to give it a couple more goes. But maybe he didn't like it because he lived another 4 years and never did it again. I don't know. You never know. 2011, 2 movies. I don't have either of them in the Hall of Fame, but I do enjoy both characters and I do enjoy both movies. Moneyball and The Ides of March.
Moneyball's not a green.
Art Howe? Nah, I mean, he's amazing. I mean, yeah, that whole movie's like perfect. The attention to detail in that movie is perfect. But no, I don't have Art Howe. I don't think he's I don't know how to say this. I'm not saying he's not trying hard, PSH. It's just not a very challenging role.
Fair enough.
It's a pretty like just like playing this baseball guy, he liked PSH liked baseball, and he just wanted to be a part of this movie, and gets to work with his buddy Bennett Miller, who he worked with on Capote, and they're friends, and get to go toe to toe with Brad Pitt a couple times, and you do have a couple cool scenes with them, but I think for the most part, I just love that movie so much. But he's a piece of it. He's not,
Yeah.
he's not the whole pie. But I do love Moneyball. Yeah.
That's fair. If this was a Brad Pitt Hall of Fame, it would
yeah, I'd be like one of the first things. Probably Aldo Rain and then Billy Bean. Yeah. that's a funny sentence. This like fucking Nazi killing guy and then this baseball guy.
Yeah. Both leaders who saw potential in their people.
Within, yeah, let's go within. Yeah, that's good.
Uh, yeah. The Ides of March, I really liked. I don't think a lot of
Yeah.
people did. A lot of people saw it as pretentious, political porn, if you will, which I get.
Mm.
But I thought it was not what I expected. And I loved a political thriller that like played out like a realistic story.
Mm.
Not I know that we all know politics are corrupt as fuck, but I like movies that, don't always give us the, Michael Douglas at the podium being like, we're gonna change the country for the better because I'm a good man. Like, shut the fuck up. No, we're not. Like, that's what, be realistic here. Uh, and yeah, Hoffman plays the campaign manager, Paul Zara, who has been around the block and plays a pretty fucked up game with Ryan Gosling and pays for it.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah. I I have this as a yellow. I think
That's fair.
Hoffman's great in it, but for me, like the one like fucking killing it in this movie is Clooney. Uh,
Dude. Yeah, I think it's a super underrated Clooney performance. Yeah.
yeah, totally. I would vote for him in a heartbeat. And he's got that, you know, fucking JFK in his prime kind of
Yep. Yep.
charm. And his character in this movie is like, an atheist who actually wants to help people, but behind the scenes, he's fucking the interns. I love that scene where Gosling's like, "You running for president in this country, you can tank the economy, you can declare war, but you can't fuck the interns. They'll get you for that."
That's brilliant. Brilliant line. Yeah, you've always loved a good like political thriller, you know.
I do. I love me some politics. I hate espionage thrillers, but I love political thrillers.
Yes. Yeah, this is a good one. I think this is available on Max or one of those. It's on something right now. I know that. Ides of March.
I have the Blu-ray, so I didn't look.
There you go. I know it's on because I almost rewatched it. I've seen this a couple times. I remember we saw this in theaters. My dad, myself, and my oldest brother Adam, because my dad has always been into movies like that. Those kind of like sleazy, sleazy politics, well-made films. 2012. We're getting close to the end here, so I'll be honest, man. We're coming down to the end as far as what I have in. A late quartet. He plays Robert Gelbart, I think. And that movie, I actually really, really, really liked a few moments, and I thought him and Keener, again, dynamite together. I like Christopher Walken was like didn't need to be that good in it, but the movie has no style, no direction, no real goal, and just feels kind of like it just leaves on like a weird note at the end. And I don't think he's quite good enough for me to consider in the Hall PSH. I think Walken is the winner of this movie. I felt like this could have been great. It's like this could have been a great movie. Good stuff about these four musicians who are kind of like on their last little run. But the other film for 2012 is my favorite thing he ever did. And sometimes I'm like, that's the coolest, like most idiosyncratic, most unique, all those adjectives, performance of all time. Lancaster Dodd in The Master, his last go with Paul Thomas Anderson before he passed away, and it is like built for a Hall of Fame with what he's doing in The Master. This is why I like to make stuff like this. Is when you see someone do something that cool and that amazing, and you're just so drawn in by every little movement that they have, every little, what's this? A dragon, every little line reading, every little, piece of their performance. This is why I like making Hall of Fames and why I like talking about these performances for 2 fucking hours. You know what I mean? This is the juice is Lancaster Dodd.
Every time we reboot the show and kind of start from scratch, one of my first thoughts is this is the new work. Like every time.
What do you want, Helen?
It's Hoffman playing L. Ron Hubbard,
Yep.
and it's so good.
Yep.
He's such a duplicitous fuck, is bullshitting everybody. And it's cool to be on that side of the audience, to know that, you're on the outside of the con. You're witnessing the con. And you know that all these people are falling for this snowball artist. And I love, my favorite moments are when somebody cracks the veil and he
Yep.
reacts crazy emotionally to anybody questioning his way of life, because he lives in a bubble where nobody questions shit. Because Elrond did the same shit. Whenever somebody outside of Scientology would be like, "What the fuck is this?" He'd go ape shit on their ass.
Yeah. You pig fuck. uh,
It is a fantastic performance, and yeah, him going toe to toe with an angry, just rage-filled Joaquin Phoenix is so rewarding.
yeah, it's the ultimate who is better. It's like I'm not quite sure which one is outdoing the other, which is like the whole beauty. It's the beauty of the whole thing, because it's not just about the performances. It's about who these people are in the movie. It's like who's fucking with who's really winning, who's really getting theirs. And ultimately, my answer is the same for both PSH.
Yep.
Lancaster Dodd wins this match. Yeah, this is it. This is my, like, for me. There's three that I'm like, don't, like, you can't touch. It's Owning Mahoney, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, and The Master. Those are like, put them on the gravestone. Like, they're just, put them on the plaque. This is the best shit ever.
Those are my three as well.
I don't think it's really close. I think those three are like why we're doing this episode. Like, that's why we can make a Hall of Fame. You build movies, you build other things around that, other performances. Like, let's tack them on. So yeah, The Master is just fucking excellent. That is, for me, the last movie I have, last performance I have as a full on green. I'll run through these real quick. Hunger Games: Catching Fire. That's the second Hunger Games. Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 1, God's Pocket, A Most Wanted Man, and Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 2. God's Pocket, A Most Wanted Man, I feel God's Pocket I do not like. Just like so misguided, like so misused, mismanaged. A Most Wanted Man, I like some of it. I like that he's doing the like German accent. I think there's moments of it that are like brilliant, and I can't believe I saw the day where him and Defoe are like, "Hey, we're in the same room." That's neat. But I just don't think he's, again, like, super standout. Maybe you have an argument for that. And then as Plutarch, in Hunger Games, I would consider him, if I were considering any of them, in Catching Fire, because that's the one where he's like the games master, and I'm actually like, okay, this movie's good because of him. And that's like a great sign of a great actor. So I'd consider that one, but not quite. Do you have any in that last run that are yellows or greens?
I had A Most Wanted Man as a yellow.
Okay. Yeah.
I didn't really like the movie either, but this is like one of the only times I ever heard him put on an accent, and he was really selling it as this
Yeah.
disgraced German spy who needs a victory. Uh, yeah, he's the only reason. Like, him and Defoe are really just holding that thing together. And
Yeah. Just by being like these veterans. Yeah.
yeah, well, apart from them, I had trouble connecting to that one. It was just, again, espionage thrillers. I hate the whole, so and so betrayed so and so because so and so had a deal going with so and so, and it's just like, I don't care. I hate that stuff.
Yeah. Me too. Me too. I'm with you. I can like it, but for the most part, I think it's very redundant. So you have to
When
be
done
very
right,
special.
when done like recently, like I watched 3 Days of the Condor. That was good.
Okay, that's on another level. Yeah. Yeah. That's like, hey, yeah, okay, that's like a classic. Yeah. Love that, love that movie. All right. So we have our list of greens and yellows. Let's take a quick break, and then we'll decide which ones should move to green.
Okay.
All right. We're gonna go through our yellows and greens. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 greens. We need to add 3 yellows, make them green. So our greens are chronologically Scotty J, Boogie Nights, Brant from Big Lebowski, Phil Parma, Magnolia, Rusty and Flawless, Freddie, Talented Mr. Ripley, Dean and Punch Drunk Love, uh, Dan Mahoney and Owning Mahoney, Sandy Lyle and Along Came Polly, Truman Capote and Capote, Owen Davian, Mission Impossible 3, Andy Hansen, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead, and Lancaster Dodd, The Master. Okay. We'll go through the yellows. Let's see what we think here. We got Dustin from Twister. We got Alan from Happiness, which I think is something we should consider. Joseph, State and Maine. Lester Bangs, Almost Famous. Wilson from Love Liza. Freddie, Red Dragon. Jacob, 25th Hour. Skip a few here. Gust, Charlie Wilson's War. Father Flynn from Doubt. Max from Marion Max, which I definitely think we should consider as well. And The Count from Pirate Radio. And Gunther from A Most Wanted Man. Which of those yellows stands out to you the most?
Yeah, probably Happiness.
Yeah, I mean, it's just unlike anything.
Yeah. To play a character like that, you've got to take yourself to a pretty fucked up place mentally and be okay with that. And yeah, he did. Not as dark as Dylan Baker, but dark.
Yeah. Good. Dylan Baker, what the fuck? I'm never gonna watch like those Sam Raimi Spider-Man's the same, you know?
Apparently, like, nobody else wanted to play that role because they were like, this is gonna fuck my career. Like, I'm never gonna recover from this. Dylan Baker was like, I'm doing all right. Did it and immediately went to Spider-Man. Like, there was no moment of fuck this guy. He just was like, no, it's a character, and just went. I don't know if I'm like scared about, like, should I be worried about that?
You know what else he's like really frightening in, but it's like kind of like funny, but also is Trick or Treat.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a weird talent there.
He's got a dark side for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So, the Marion Max performance stands out again. Also, same as Happiness, where it's like there's nothing else on this list like it.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, okay. I'll give you Marion Max.
That means we have one more. Twister, State and Maine, Almost Famous, Love Liza, Red Dragon, 25th Hour, Charlie Wilson's War, Doubt, Pirate Radio, A Most Wanted Man. God, fuck. 15's like not enough. This is insane.
Instinct says Love Liza.
Man, my brother Jeremy's gonna fucking kick my ass if Pirate Radio is not on the list. Oh my lord. You have no idea, dude. I think Love Liza, especially if we're talking about kind of like range and different things an actor can do, and like what goes in the hall, what's the most, like special. I feel like this is at such an interesting time in his career. He showed he could carry a movie. He's not really doing that for a while. Those late 90s movies, Flawless, Magnolia, Mr. Ripley, then you go to State and Maine, Almost Famous, Punch Drunk Love. He's not carrying any of those. He's great. He's excellent. But Love Liza, he's it. He's the movie.
Yeah.
I think I'm with you, man.
It's just such a, untethered from normality performance, the aftermath of a loved one's suicide, like tackling that is such a unique snapshot of life, and he plays it so like emotionally relatable. He has his moments of cracks where he, is huffing gas and flying planes and shit, but most of the time he's just sitting there, just absorbing the fact that this is happening to him. And that I get that. I can see that happening.
Yeah, man. It really is kind of like hey, we don't have much of a screenplay here. Can you like do your thing? He's like, sure, yeah. He's like, I got it, I got you. I think it's really impressive. I was blown away by that one. Fuck it. We have our 15, and I feel like we're kind of cheating on him. You know. There's like, I mean, there's just so many. There's so many. That's why we're doing it. You have to make a stopping point though. So if we're landing with that 15, if you're good with that 15, I'm good with that 15. Let's go ahead and name them off properly so we can end this episode. Going chronologically again. 1997, Scotty J from Boogie Nights. 1998, Brant from The Big Lebowski. Also 1998, Alan from Happiness. 1999, we have three in a row here. Phil Parma, Magnolia. Rusty, Flawless. Freddie Miles, I think, and Talented Mr. Ripley. All the way to 2002, we have a couple. We got Dean Trumbell and Punch Drunk Love, and Wilson in Love Liza. Then we go to 2003, we have Dan Mahoney in Owning Mahoney. 2004, Sandy Lyle, Along Came Polly. 2005, Truman Capote in Capote. 2006, Owen Davian, Mission Impossible 3. 2007, Andy Hansen, Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. 2009, Max, or Marion Max. And 2012, Lancaster Dodd, The Master. Wow, what a list.
Beautiful.
I love every single one of those movies. Not even like, oh, those are fine. I love them all. I love them. Good shit, man. This is wow. What a blast. I can't wait to do this with other actors, but I feel like it was right to do him this way first. Watch as many of his movies as we can. Go chronologically. Do this green, yellow, red system where we can kind of talk about it, figure it out, see what similarities we have, and come up with a list of 15 rock solid performances from one of our favorites. Rest in peace. Rest in peace, PSH. 10 years. Can't believe it's been that long, but we will. I know Connor and I are on the forefront of you are not going anywhere.
No, I'm going to treasure his performances for the rest of my life. I value his contribution to film more than most, and there's never going to be another one like him. But I'm so glad we did have him for the time we had him.
Hell yeah, man. Well said. This is great. I'm really happy with the way this is going. And next week we're gonna have another very, very unique special episode. You don't quite know what it is. I've kept it under wraps here, and I'm finally going to tell you kind of what's going on for next Friday. You know it has to do with animated movies. You know that. I've asked you to make sure you watch or rewatch whatever you need to do for next Friday, February 9th. All of the movies that have won Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. I believe there's 22 of them.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. 21, 22. It started with Shrek in 2001. So yeah, somewhere in there. 22, 23. You've watched all of them. You're ready. You've done the prep. I've seen all of them. We're going to do a very, very intense tournament dealing with all of these movies. The format I will release as we do the episode next week because the format of it's much different than any other tournament format we've done so far. But it has to do with kind of pitting these movies against each other, voting on them, seeing if Connor can just, fold and break down live on the podcast. So I'm I'm super excited. There's a lot of great movies that have won that award. A lot of Connor's personal favorites, the movies that come to mind like Shrek, The Incredibles, Toy Story 3. These are movies that are near and dear to your heart, and we're going to find out which one you think is best. So I'm very excited for next week, and we'll continue doing this for the next few Fridays all the way up until that Oscar weekend of March 10th. So keep watching movies. We'll see you very, very soon.